fixed.
Navy Brad, can you hear us? Are we live? Thank you for texting in, Navy Brad, and letting us know there was no sound on YouTube. All right. Let's see. Other things that happened. Do we have to continue talking about Ralph, do you want to go ahead and throw your terrible takes about the Diamondbacks in on this? What were you saying before we went on the air?
Well,
you were
I was
calling yourself some sort of messiah or something? What were you saying? What were you saying?
I was prophesizing like I did last week.
Oh, you're prophesizing. Okay.
Prophesize. I'm very prophetic. Yes.
Is that like supersizing?
It's like supersizing with the prof in front of it. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I had said last week, I had prophesized last week that the Dodgers would win the division and the Giants would be second and the Diamondbacks would be third. And that's exactly what we're looking at right now.
Well, right now.
Right now. So, but the Diamondbacks are starting to fall, which is what we thought would happen.
Well, right now, there's no way you can say this is the way it's going to look at the end. There's no way.
I can say that.
Well, you can say that, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be right.
The Diamondbacks are falling apart, which is
oh my God! Here it is.
They're falling apart.
Go ahead. Yes, the wheels have come off. Okay.
I would say the wheels are down the back of the road there. Yeah, we forgot the wheels. The Dodgers are definitely getting healthier and playing better, and so are the Giants. So I anticipate this to be the 1, 2, 3. This is what I thought. And if they don't watch out, the Padres will catch them. But I'm not going to predict that.
Oh, the Padres, huh? They're trying to have they're probably having a fire sale. There's been a lot of talk about the Padres selling off a bunch of pieces from that. You talk about a dumpster fire. That's what's happening in San Diego.
Yeah, I mean that, and probably in the Mets too. Playing the Mets this weekend. I mean, just watching them play, that was just not fun to watch for them. If I was a Met fan, that was brutal.
No, I had a good time watching the Mets.
Yeah, I bet you did. But yeah, just watching them play, that's bad. That's just really bad.
Mr. Wilbur on the text line, 888-368-1580. Mr. Wilbur says, "Happy Monday, gentlemen. I want to congratulate your radio station for being the official sponsor of the 2024 WNBA All-Star Game here in Phoenix. It'll be wonderful that you guys are one of, or should I say, the only radio station that will be down there on Media Row to cover the Monumental Game." Let me correct you a couple things here, Mr. Wilbur. First of all, you root for a completely terrible, horrible college football and basketball team. And number two, you need to check I don't know if your Braille pad is working correctly for you to ascertain. I don't know. I work here and I have not had any sort of inclination or announcement from Radio Ron that we're going to be the official 2024 WNBA All-Star radio station. I don't think there's any chance of that. Hell would freeze over before the Daily Blender and the 1580 The Fanatic would be the official station. I'm sure there's another station down the dial that would they'll absolutely chomp at the bit to try to be out there as the official station of the WNBA All-Star Game. Check the batteries in your news source, Mr. Wilbur. Mystery Girl says, "Randy, here's a new texter name for your list. Everyday Anus."
Somehow, I don't think that's getting approved. I don't know.
Mystery Girl, what?
I don't have the gift of prophecy like Ralph does. But if I were to hazard a guess, I don't think that was going to make it past Radio Ron's desk. Just a guess.
888-368-1580. That's the text line. Yeah, Mystery Girl, I'm not sure that'll pass the...
I mean, we can always ask. He doesn't mind, but just a hunch.
Text line is active here on this Monday edition of the Daily Blender. So Snakes have a bad series coming out the All-Star break. Not what they needed. Certainly, it's not the end of the world. I know George is probably hyperventilating right now, especially after the news of the Snakes and the Suns this weekend. So I'm sure that Big George, just breathe. It's going to be okay. It's 3 games. It's not an ending of a season here. It's not the end of a season. We can all relax. The Diamondbacks are not done. It don't need ladies and gentlemen, 70 some odd games to go. Please.
Done.
Easy. Well, that's easy for you to say.
It is easy.
I think your Dodger hat is just too tight on you. That's restricting the blood flow to your brain.
Kind of loose. No, it's kind of.
I don't know, Keon. Did you see any of the Diamondbacks Blue Jays debacle this weekend?
I caught one of the games and I did not finish the game. It was it was hard to watch. I'll just be honest with you. We talked about the issues that the Diamondbacks have all season long, and pitching has been one of the big issues. And sure enough, in that series, it popped up again. Just there's no way to close out games with the arms they currently have.
So if as I was talking earlier in this segment, the Mets are talking about maybe unloading Scherzer. Maybe they're going to unload what's the other guy?
Verlander.
Do you think that I know, Ralph, you have something to say, but I'm asking Keon first before I get your take. Your Dodger Blue take. Keon, okay, I have my own opinion here. You give me your thoughts, Keon. Should these Snakes make a move for one of these two guys?
They absolutely should. It's one of their big positions of need. I mean, starting pitching, they need to get deeper there. And then, the bullpen is the other position. Either you find somebody that can help you close out games, somebody who can help you get from inning, 5 or 6 to 9, or somebody who can help you close out in 9, or get a good starter, get somebody who's going to be able to go, maybe not the entire distance at this point, but somebody who's going to be able to give you a strong start to games where you don't have to score 6-7 runs a game. Because that's what it feels like for the Diamondbacks, that they have to score a bunch of runs to win. And they've been doing it. And it hasn't been all homers. It's been, playing baseball the way that it's fun to watch people play baseball, stealing bases, hitting guys in. But the thing is, ultimately, if you have to score 5 runs a game to win, that's not something that you can maintain. And you start to play some of these tougher teams that they've been playing. Their schedule's been tougher lately. Yeah, you're going to struggle a little bit if you don't have that dominant pitching.
Scherzer 8-3 with a 3.99 ERA, 107 Ks, and his walks and hits in innings pitched is 1.18, which I think is respectable. But it's still, his ERA is 3.99. That's not normal Max Scherzer like. I don't know that Verlander's that much better. If I bring up Verlander's numbers, he's 3.72 ERA. His walks, hits, and innings pitched is 1.23. He only has 63 Ks. He's 3-5 on the season, if you can believe that. I could believe it because I thought Justin Verlander taking this new deal with New York was just simply absolutely stealing money from McCohen and the Mets. I don't know. What do you have to say, Ralph?
Well, no, I don't think either one of those guys moves. Their salaries are just too big. So those are tough guys to move because of what they're making this year. That they're kind of stuck on the roster, and the Mets are kind of in a bad place. That their announcers talked about it during this weekend. They were talking about how they pretty much are kind of stuck with what they have. Don't see them being able to move those salaries. And next year, they're basically going to come back with the same team. So they're in a bad place. Now, I agree the Diamondbacks need to go after some pitching. I would go after some relief pitching and maybe try to find a mid-level starter. There's guys out there you can go after like Kenley Jansen or guys like that you can maybe pull out. But they need relief pitching. Their bullpen's horrendous. You got to.
Well, the bullpen is, it doesn't keep them in games.
It had to catch up with them eventually, and it has caught up with them. And they need to find somebody that can close games out, and they don't have that right now. So that's the need. You need to go out there and get it soon before this thing really the wheels do fall off because they're starting to wobble.
What are there's 9 days? If 9 days the trade deadline,
yeah,
9 days.
August 1st.
Is that what it is? Oh, August 1st. Okay, all right. 888-368-1580, the text line. You can be a part of the program. For to mention, it's good to have you along. We're talking some Diamondbacks baseball. Just an abhorrent showing. This is not the way you come off of the All-Star break if you're the Diamondbacks, and you don't put Zach Gallen out there and then lose the game for him. So, what's the next step for the Diamondbacks? In my opinion, they've just kind of gone into a hitting funk. They just can't seem to hit the ball. It's not that they've run into some sort of buzzsaw, pitching. They've been dealing with pitching all year long. They've been able to hit the ball and move runners around. So what's the problem, Ralph, for the Diamondbacks at this juncture?
I mean, I think they relied heavily on one guy most of the first part of the year, right? And I don't think you can do that and be successful. And I just think as you get going and you get into the dog days of July and August, especially, some of those things don't continue. And after the break, it gets tough. Keeping your record solid after the All-Star break is not an easy thing to do. And a lot of teams struggle with it. And they're just falling into that gap. Again, they need to make some changes quickly in the next week or so. Or I think they're in a lot of trouble. And I think you can see them fall real far, real fast, because the Dodgers are getting healthy. The Giants are playing good ball, and they'll fall hard if they don't do something quickly. So they're in trouble. They're in big
Well, I mean,
trouble.
the Giants have won five in a row. Dodgers just lost last night in extras, but they look pretty good.
Yes,
It had to be a big hit for the Dodgers, though. Kershaw with the left arm issue. I mean, I don't know how severe it is. I hope nothing but the best for him. You'd hate to see a guy that's been this great for this long, his career come down to. And some guys are talking about he may not come back. This might be it for him.
This might be it. We'll see. But the Dodgers have the luxury to say, hey, Kershaw, stay on the sidelines until September. We've got enough young kids. We got enough guys coming back. You're good. So, I mean, they have that luxury because their farm system is that good. The Diamondbacks don't have that luxury. They need to find arms.
Baker's Cocky Hens on the text line says Scherzer as a closer would be epic. He would have to be in foo though. He would have to be in foo. The hell does that mean?
I don't know what that means.
He'd have to be in the foo. He would have to be a full on Pete Alonso meditation mode every game. And if someone talked to him in the pen, he'd kill him. Well, I mean, Randy Johnson was that way.
Scherzer's kind of already that way.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got those crazy eyes. You go over to him and say anything. There was one teammate that he had in Washington that tried to small talk before the game, and he talked about anything that wasn't baseball, and Max just wasn't going to hear it. I don't want to hear about your kids, your dog, your car, nothing. If it's not baseball and we're about to play baseball.
888-368-1580. Blissful Hayes. Is 1580 AM ever going to be fixed? It's all static right now. That's my preferred way to listen to the blender. Well, I'm sorry. I don't know what's going on with 1580 The Fanatic.
I was actually talking to Radio Ron about it before the show. Just some overheating issues that they're going to have to work on to get clear. But
at least the building that's the transmitter's housed in is not burning to the ground. That happened one day. That is a true story.
This problem is at the very least fixable, but that's okay.
We were on the air and Jeffrey got a text from the engineer saying, the fire department just called me. The transmitter building is on fire.
Not exactly the way you want to hear that the house is on fire. But we've got a number of different ways to listen to. We've got 99.3 FM, 1580thefanatic.com. I know that that's not necessarily your preferred way. If you have the app, that's what I use in my car. In the event that 1580 goes down, I switch over to the app and play it off of there until it's back up. So there's a number of different ways. Obviously, we're streaming on YouTube. So I understand that 1580 might be your favorite way. But until that's getting up, we've got a number of different ways to listen.
Big George says, Randy, remember what Jeffrey said. Don't let Ralph walk all over you with his Diamondback hate and love for the Dodgers. This is a Phoenix radio station, not an LA station. Tell Ralph to STFU, whatever that means.
Let me just say this.
You're
right.
That means.
He's right. This is a Phoenix radio station, but I don't know if you've been driving around lately.
I don't know what that means.
I have. Man, there's a lot of California license plates in this city all of a sudden. Isn't there?
It's because they want to leave LA.
They're all moving out here, so we got to start getting used to it.
It's got to tell you some of the intelligence of those LA fans. If they're moving to Phoenix,
they're smart
during one of the hottest damn streets in all of history, 17 days in a row of 110 or more, and you left the ocean.
Well, it's everything else that's outside of the ocean. That's why you leave.
Yeah, I don't know why you'd come directly to hell, though. But if that's the choice you want to make. I walked outside yesterday and then walked back inside my house. There was just oh man,
really? I did yard work.
Oh,
yes,
you're braver than me.
Oh my God,
not a chance.
I'm sorry. Let's see. Lots going on the text line. We've got to take a break. When we come back, your texts on the text line. Don't forget, we're in the midst of a big Christmas in July. Our good friends over at the Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. You'll be listening today for one of Santa's reindeer's names to be spoken during the show. Now, we're not going to make a big fuss over it. You hear the name, you text it in at 888-368-1580. And, at the end of the program, I did talk with Jeffrey. I will send him all of the people and all the numbers, and he will do a random number generator at the end of the program. And we will pick the winner at random, which, by the way, last Friday, Donnie was the winner on Friday. Awesome. Donnie. So it's not rigged. So you be listening.
That's a good point.
If anybody wasn't going to win under rigged settings, it would be Donnie. But you be listening and text in when you hear it. We'll be back with more Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. The best way to start betting smarter is to sign up for a free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. That's vsin.com/subscribe.
Major League Baseball, the Diamondbacks taking on the Atlanta Braves Tuesday at Truist Park. Zach Gady is going up against Bryce Elder. Arizona getting a run and a half plus 106 on the run line, while Atlanta minus a run and a half minus 128. The Diamondbacks are plus 198 on the money line. Atlanta minus 240. The over-under is at 9.5. Also, the Dodgers taking on Baltimore tonight. Los Angeles minus 102 on the money line. Baltimore minus 116. Over under 9.5. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN action update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
I can't wait for what's next. Even with higher stroke risk due to atrial fibrillation, and irregular heartbeat not caused by a heart valve problem. Eliquis, the Apixaban tablets, reduces stroke risk. It's the #1 cardiologist prescribed blood thinner.
Don't stop taking prescription Eliquis without talking to your doctor, as this may increase your risk of stroke. Eliquis can cause serious and, in rare cases, fatal bleeding. Don't take Eliquis if you have an artificial heart valve, abnormal bleeding, or have antiphospholipid syndrome. While taking, you may bruise more easily or take longer for bleeding to stop. A spinal injection while on Eliquis increases risk of blood clots, which may cause paralysis, the inability to move. Get medical help right away for unexpected bleeding or unusual bruising, or if you have tingling, numbness, or muscle weakness. It may increase your bleeding risk if you take medicines such as aspirin products, NSAIDs, SSRIs, SNRIs, and blood thinners. Tell your doctor about all planned medical or dental procedures. Learn more at Eliquis.com or call 1-855-ELIQUIS.
This isn't a game of touch in the backyard.
I tore his ass up.
This isn't tossing around the ball with your friends. And it sure as hell isn't flag football.
This is the NFL. Hard-hitting, pad-smacking, body-busting football.
We've got all the primetime games in one place.
On your home for the NFL, 1580 and 99.3, The Fanatic.
Is the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, as we are efforting our way towards 6 o'clock tonight. Right over there, that's the legend. That's Ralph from Harmon Solar joining us here. And next to him, the sexiest man, Sports Talk Radio, Keon Rose. I'm Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien in transit today. He's en route, as the B-52 said back in their great song, Love Shack. En route. And you are the Ford Dimension texting in on the text line at 888-368-1580. Bruno Baller, I'm confused at your text here. If before the season started, you said the Diamondbacks would be in contention for a playoff spot 100 games into it, you'd be okay with that. Yes, I'm fine with where the Diamondbacks are. I never expected the Diamondbacks to be this good this soon. I knew they had a young nucleus, but I don't think did I say something negative? I just said they had an abhorrent series coming out of the All-Star break in Toronto.
And I don't think it's unfair that once they're kind of in that conversation, to want them to continue and finish the job and maybe grab that playoff spot. Like, as a fan, that's what you want to see. And it's also not unfair to look at your general manager, who has not really made a lot of trade deadline moves in his tenure there. And he always said that if the team was in contention around the trade deadline, he would be in a position to buy. Well, you want Mike Hazen to put his money where his mouth is. He says he's going to buy if they're there. They're there. Guess what? I want to see him make some moves. I want to see him give this team a chance to continue to be in contention as the rest of the season goes on.
Well, Mike Hazen says they're not going to be reckless with any moves. So, I mean, that would probably you
I don't think
say they're not going to make a play for Scherzer or Verlander. But I think I've said this before, I'll say it again. The Diamondbacks are a value-minded team. They're going to look for a value pickup that they can bring in to help this team. And I don't think it's going to be a bat. Quite frankly, I agree with Ralph. I think this team is looking for pitching depth. I think you'll probably see them go somebody in the bullpen. You might see somebody that can be a bullpen and or starter. And I think you're going to see somebody that the Diamondbacks can keep on this team for some time being. They're not going to go rent a player like they did with JD Martinez, several seasons ago. When they brought in JD Martinez before he signed that huge deal with the Red Sox. And he was a rental player. Snakes are not going to do that. That's just not the team they are. And Mike Hazen is not that kind of general manager. So, and I am happy with the Diamondbacks. I'm not bad-mouthing them. I'm not sure why they lost 3 games to Toronto, but
Toronto's playing better ball.
I mean, Toronto's in the AL East, in my opinion, and it's just my humble opinion. That's the best division in baseball. I mean, every team in that division has over 50 wins.
That's insane. The worst
every team in that division
is the Yankees with 50.
And we're going into a ballpark tonight at Truist Field there in Atlanta. We're taking on a team that's got 60 wins. And Atlanta is one of the best teams in baseball right now. I mean, this has been like a table saw for the Diamondbacks to come off an All-Star break and go. And then you go to Cincinnati, where, by the way, they haven't been playing really good lately. But I mean, they were a hot team. The Reds were a hot team, and they were leading their division until Milwaukee beat them up pretty good this weekend.
And they still are a 50-win team right now. So, like, you're talking about a run of teams where, and I'll give Ralph some more prophetic credit. Earlier, the Diamondbacks were playing good to average teams, and now they're playing the cream of the crop. They're playing the best of the best. So they've got to step their game up now, because that's what the great teams do. The Diamondbacks have been a good team all year. Can they be a great team?
Well, and don't look now. Philadelphia is starting to heat up.
Oh boy,
they're starting to play ball, and the Diamondbacks face them here pretty soon. So I mean, this is this is big boy baseball. I mean, you can't go on what you did before the All-Star break and expect to get it, but you got to go earn it, man. Mr. Wilbur, let's speak it into existence. Let's also plan a radio station. Let's speak it into play a radio station versus WNBA girls slam dunk. See, I wish you'd just drop it, Mr. Wilbur. Because Jeffrey will be back tomorrow, and this is not going to fly. And then he says, the tower's on fire. We don't need no water. Let that mother blinker burn.
Well, let's not do that.
Well, this is the flamethrower.
Yeah.
I mean, clearly the loudest, strongest AM in the valley. I mean, if we turn this up to full power, everybody else would disintegrate. That's just me speaking. If the Fanatic went full power, nobody else would have a chance. It would be like, oh, and everybody else would be,
oh my gosh.
I mean, I'm just saying it like it is. I'm trying to dumb it down, and make it real plain, real easy. Mars Bars 805. Happy Marley Monday, guys. I hope is going well with the warmer weather today. Weather report, Hefe. Everything sounds good on YouTube. And Viva Mexico, cabrones. Go Lakers and USC, Ralph. I'll take that 805, please, Randy. Well, Keon is manning the bar today for me. And there you go. Enjoy that 805. It's nice and icy cold for you. Mr. Pringle says, Sunshine Smoke a Bowl wins the title parade. Hey, Pringle. Wow. We'll talk about it in a few minutes. There's a lot to talk about, but I'm not done with the Diamondbacks yet. I just want to encourage everybody. The Diamondbacks and the Blue Jays, The Blue Jays have one better game than us as far as the record goes. That's it.
For now.
So if everybody's panicking out there, Big George, I know you've gone to In-N-Out and you've stacked up like 10 or 12 of those chocolate shakes and you're just working on the 11th. Take it easy. It's going to be okay. The season is a long way to go. We've only just passed the 90 game mark in this season.
You know, he's calling for someone to get fired.
I didn't want to look on Twitter this weekend.
I'm sure he is, though. He's got to be calling for somebody.
I didn't want to. I don't want to do that. I don't know. All right, some other things to talk about baseball wise. Oh, by the way, the Snakes put Zach Davies on the hill against Elder. Zach Davies, who's 1-5 with a 6.37 ERA, going against the right-hander for the Braves, Elder, who's 7-2 with a 2.97.
That's not going to.
And the hits just keep on coming.
The gift that keeps giving.
Shohei Ohtani. I'm going to do this now because I used to like Eric Karros when he was playing ball. I used to think this guy is a good dude. I like Eric Karros, but I watched him on the Fox baseball cast. He says some of the stupidest things I've ever heard in my life. You know, I mean, if we were just sitting and talking baseball, it would probably be a great conversation. But he says some of the dumbest things. I like this. Eric Karros puts out a defense that says Shohei Ohtani will be playing for San Francisco after the trade deadline. What? Who? San Fran who? Shohei Ohtani is going to play for who, Eric? The Giants? Okay, let me tell you why this is a dumb take. Number one, the Dodgers are never going to let that happen. Never. Let me underscore that and bold it for you. The Dodgers will never let Shohei Ohtani go to their hated rivals, the San Francisco Giants. And number two, the San Francisco Giants don't have the money to bring in Shohei Ohtani and make it a long-term investment. If he landed in San Francisco, I would be shocked. I would probably have to take the day off just because I would be so shocked. I wouldn't be able to speak. If Shohei Ohtani goes anywhere, it will be to the American League East, and it will be to the Yankees, or it will be to the Houston Astros, or it will be to one of those teams, or the Los Angeles Dodgers. He's not going to San Francisco.
Well, he's not. And I don't think he's going anywhere until next year. He's a $500 million plus contract when you sign this guy. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, yeah, the Giants can't do that. They don't have the room.
They would have to trade a historic group of prospects to get him. And he might still walk in the offseason.
He'd be a rental.
That would
exactly.
It would be the most expensive rental you could possibly have in baseball. Right. And there's no guarantee that he powers you to the playoffs. Yeah. And there's no guarantee that once you get to the playoffs, you do anything. And then he might walk away. Why would you do that?
No,
forget the Dodgers. I don't think the Giants would let the Giants do that.
Unless you come with the richest professional sports contract ever written. Shohei Ohtani is going to leave at the end of the season.
You have to have a preconceived, worked out deal for this trade. So with a trade and sign, basically knowing that you're going to sign him at that trade point. Otherwise, no one's going to trade for him. Nobody, because you're not going to like Keon said. No one's going to rent this guy for 5 to 6 players. It's not going to
for the amount of prospects.
Yeah,
and players that the Angels would want in return.
They're going to want a minimum of 5 players. That's
easy.
Yeah.
And not just any players, not like your A team guys or your double A guy. They're going to want your best prospects for Shea. Think about what the Angels are giving up here.
Yeah, they're giving up everything.
Do the Angels want to make this trade? Well, I mean, if it fits them, I mean, I could see them doing it, but not to the San Francisco Giants.
The only way the Angels do this is if they have if their mindset is going forward, we're going to rebuild. Then they do this, because what they're going to have to do when they trade him is they're going to have to get rid of Trout too, because Trout's going to demand to be traded. because Trout's not going to want to be part of a rebuild. So you're losing possibly the two best players in the game at one time. So for that, you better get a heck of a lot of prospects. And there's not many teams out there that have that many prospects to be able to offer up. The Dodgers alone I can think of 12 pitching prospects right now that are all upper echelon that any team would love to have. So that's why, to me, they're the front runner. They could give them 3, 4, 5 pitching prospects tomorrow. Not many teams can do that.
I mean,
including the Giants.
Right, exactly. The Giants.
I mean, the Dodgers, the Yankees,
I don't think
Houston Astros, maybe.
I don't think the Yankees can afford them. I mean, they got to pay Judge. They got to pay Stanton. I mean,
but I think Stanton, his time is limited in the Bronx. I'll be honest with you. I think his time is limited. So Eric Karros, I'm sorry. That was possibly the worst take I've heard from him ever.
I think
I like Eric Karros. I think he's a good dude. But this is just.
And remember, he was a Dodger, and his son is in the Dodger organization at A-ball. I think he's just stirring the pot.
This is ridiculous. And during the game, sometimes I have to turn the sound off. Otherwise, I start throwing things at my TV. And it's not my TV's fault that Eric Karros just has terrible takes.
Yeah.
888-368-1580. So let's start the discussion about the Phoenix Suns and this trade that happened over the weekend. First of all, Keon, did you see this coming? And secondly, second part of my question, did you think that it would be Cameron Payne involved in a trade for a player like Bol Bol? Go ahead. The stage is yours, sir.
Well, no, I didn't see it coming necessarily. Well, they were interested in Bol Bol, so that was already out there. But just to make sure that they had the roster spot to make sure that they could sign him, moving Cam Payne, that wasn't the guy that I thought they were going to move. I thought that they were going to try and see what they had in Cam Payne and Eric Gordon at point guard and kind of figure out where they were going from there. But instead, they move on from Cam Payne. From what I understand from some of the reports I was reading from Shams Charania this weekend, Bradley Beal's going to be the point guard. And he's played it, but that's usually not his role. But he can play it really well. Basically, whenever the Wizards decided they were done with John Wall, that was Bradley Beal's job. He was the point guard, shooting guard, kind of combo guard deal there. So they got a couple of those guys now because Gordon kind of does a similar thing. But yeah, I guess once they went and made the deal for Eric Gordon, kind of made Cam Payne a little redundant at that point because you got a bunch of guys playing a very similar position, and Cam Payne just wound up being the odd man out. I didn't think that they were going to move on from him necessarily, but clearly that was the decision that they made.
So in case you missed it, here's the deal. Just break it down. This is what Shams Charania said. The Suns acquired 3 second-round picks from the Orlando Magic in exchange for a 26 first-round pick swap. Notably, the Suns have already swapped their 26 pick with the Wizards. The Magic will therefore gain the right to swap their own 2026 pick with the less favorable or Washington and Phoenix picks, with the Suns automatically getting the worst of the 3. Part number 2, Cam Payne, a second-round pick, and cash go to the San Antonio Spurs in what amounts to a cap dump. And number 3, using the roster spot cleared in the Payne trade, the Suns signed former Magic reserve Bol Bol to a 1-year minimum salary deal. Phoenix saves more than $26 million in luxury taxes for this season. However, the on-court cost could be far greater than the names involved here might suggest. So with CP3 gone, with Cam Payne gone, and you just heard Keon talk about what the Suns are planning on doing. I don't know what you think, Keon. I don't know what you think, Ralph. I don't think the Suns are done making moves and working deals.
No, but
I think there's still stuff in the background we don't even know about.
No, I agree with you on that, by the way. I think that they're at the point now where they're refining the roster. You already made the big moves. You signed or traded for the big names, and then you filled out the roster with complementary pieces. But now you're just trying to figure out what's that little extra thing that we can do to put us over the edge. So they go out and they make a move for a guy like Bol Bol, who hasn't really lived up to a lot of the hype that he had when he first came into the league. But a lot of that has to do with just health. He just hadn't been a healthy player. Last year, he played 70 games So that a massive improvement from what he was doing before. He averaged 9 points a game. I think he was playing like 20-ish, 19, 20 minutes a game. So that's not bad. So just having a guy that's 7 feet tall and can be a reserve, and it gives you, as far as someone protecting the rim, a little DeAndre Ayton insurance. Just in the sense that when he is in one of those places, if for whatever reason him and Frank Vogel don't get along and there's some clashing, there is a 7-footer you can turn to. Because it's really important for Frank Vogel's defense that there's a guy that's 7 feet tall in the defense. Like there's not there's not a, like Steve Kerr can go small ball and he's got different ways that he likes guys to switch for that. It's very important in this defense that there's a guy that's 7 feet tall at the rim.
All right, we're going to talk about it more when we come back. We're up against a break, and also get your takes on this fourth dimension on the text line at 888-368. And there's a lot of them there, and I'm sure Ralph's going to dish in on this as well. This is the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either a Dave's single, spicy chicken sandwich, medium frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
chicken
a frosty.
sandwich,
Dave's single and a frosty for me.
And a frosty. Okay, who said frosty and a frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's, buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
Go into Ben Bridge and ask to speak to a bridge. They aren't there. Shane Company, no one named Shane there. Robbins Brothers has been owned by a VC firm for years. Jared, that name came from a focus group. Hi, Diamond Dave Cantor, the only wholesale 4th generation diamond importer, GI graduate that you can actually meet in person. At Desert Wholesale Diamond, I'm importing the diamonds, designing and coordinating the custom rings, and I'm here. Deal with a full-bore retail store. You're paying their huge overhead, their shareholder profit, and multiple mid-level managers. Buying a diamond is a major life moment purchase. You should be dealing with the source, and I'm it. We're in a professional office building to give you the one-on-one service a purchase like this deserves. I'm connected to the largest diamond cutters in the world, cutting out all the layers that add to the price of a diamond.
Call 480-397-2450. That's 480-397-2450. Or follow Dave on Instagram at Diamond Dave Cantor. That's at Diamond Dave, Kantor.
When you run a business, you need to be in control. And while you can't control everything that happens in the world of business, you can definitely take control of your utility expenses with the help of Harmon Solar. Give them a call and see how your company can save up to 80% on that monthly electric bill with zero down and no payments for 12 months. Harmon Solar is a local family-owned company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar, 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189. Or go to harmonsolar.com.
Well, Mrs. Grayer, nothing on the x-ray that pinpoints the source of the pain. Let's send you to our lumbar expert.
After reviewing the x-rays, I can't see anything wrong. Let's give you a steroid shot for the pain and send you to the lab for some blood work.
Tired of the runaround? How about trying a new approach? The holistic approach.
At the Naturopathic Physicians Group in Scottsdale, our medical doctors are experts in full spectrum care using a natural approach. Patients come in for a variety of issues, including joint pain, chronic conditions, and issues specific to men's and women's health. Our naturopathic doctors can restore pain-free joint function and restore balance in immune, digestive, and hormone systems, which often improves both immediate physical symptoms and also improves cognition and emotional stability. If traditional medicines aren't working, don't you think it's time to start feeling like yourself again? Call Naturopathic Physicians Group at 480-451-6161. That's 480-451-6161. Or go to naturopathicgroup.com.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Arizona's new home for sports.
Text line buzzing along here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Blissful Hayes. Okay, Ralph, you got a fan here. Sorry. It's always nice to hear real and honest takes. Ralph always tells the truth and is hilarious. Giving Jeffrey some grief needs to be on the air every day. Hey, Blissful Hayes. He's been over to my house before. Does that mean anything? I could get you his autograph if you'd like.
I appreciate it, real fan.
I love
the real fans. Thank you.
Baker's cocky hands. It's because idiots from California don't update their damn registration or titles on their vehicles.
What?
You've seen a lot of California plates because the idiots from California don't update their damn registration or titles on their vehicles.
Because it costs 3 to 4 times as much to register a car in California, so you want full use out of it.
Radio Ron says, thanks to our new advertiser, Desert Diamond Air Conditioning. They're at the 1580 The Fanatic transmitter site right now. Props to Desert Diamond Air. Oh, and Harman Solar too, Ralph.
Thanks, Ron.
Mr. Wilbur says, so you're saying, Ralph, that the Lakers number 23 will go away? I'm all for that.
The Lakers number 23 will go away.
Well, LeBron is changing his number again. He's got to do something to be in the press. And so now he's changing his number to honor an NBA great. It's not who you think it is. This year he will no longer wear number 6.
Right.
He will now wear 23. And it's not because of Michael Jordan.
Okay. Is this a bad thing, or I don't understand?
I mean,
he's worn 23 and 6.
Yeah, he's had it before.
So.
I wouldn't.
Kobe wore 2 numbers too. I mean, so I don't.
Normally, I wouldn't bring this up at all. So dumb. Who cares? Just get out there and play ball.
Well, LeBron is a legitimate businessman, and you change your number. That's more jerseys. You get a cut.
Attention, please. Attention. I have an announcement. I am changing my jersey number again.
People will buy it.
Yeah, they will. They'll have 2 of them instead of 1. So, yeah.
Navy Brad is my meteorologist in training. He wants us to know we've had 18 days of 110 or greater record tied today. Thank you, Navy Brad.
Really not the record I wanted to see, but
and they're saying we're going to have 10 more.
We're going to blow that record out of the water. Yeah. It's not even going to be close.
Bruno Baller, the Yankees record of 50 wins and 44 losses. It's good enough for last place in the American League East. That's good. That's a tough division. Yeah. I said it was the best division in baseball.
Yeah.
And I said, Yankees, last place. Sorry. Mr. Pringle says, so Smoke a Bowl is Sun's new point guard now. No. Keon already talked about it. Say Bradley Beal is what he's hearing. Bradley Beal's new point guard for the Phoenix Suns. I mean, I don't know. Why would you say Bull? The guy's 7'9", something like that.
And look, he actually does dribble the ball really well. He
looks like a giant giraffe. I mean, come on. I think it's so funny. Wembanyama, I had the same feeling.
The thing is,
it's like watching a giraffe dribble a ball.
I see Wembanyama and I'm like, okay, you put that dude in a gym, and get him on an NBA diet for a year, he'll be okay. You put Bol in a gym and it doesn't really matter what you do.
No.
I mean, that guy could bench a truck by the time you're done. He's going to be a stick. That's just how he's built.
Big George.
What else to do, man?
Big George says, so excited the Suns finally have a real center in the form of Bol. DeAndre who? Easy, Big George.
Okay, yeah, let's not be so quick to replace the guy that basically does 20 and 10 in his sleep.
Yeah, easy. 888-368-1580. So, Ralph, this Suns thing kind of hit me by surprise. I couldn't believe it. I was sitting here yesterday when the thing came through. What are your thoughts on this? The Phoenix Suns moving campaign, bringing in Bol, freeing up some freeing up some cap space. To me, this speaks a lot of positives. I see there's some concerns here about who's going to be, the point guard for this team. But
well, no, I think it's a smart move. You have to free up that space, right? You spent your money on some big guys to get them in there, and now you got to fill the roster out with some reserves. That makes sense, and you don't need money to do that. I think Campaign's a big winner here. I mean, he's going to go to San Antonio. I don't know what Keon thinks, but I think that's a great move for him, and I think he could be a really big part of what they're trying to build there.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's really exciting for Campaign. I mean, you hate to lose him, but I understand why you move him.
Yeah, and look, they moved him to an organization. They didn't move him to hell. They didn't send him to Orlando or something. Like they sent him to San Antonio. And how many guys have we thought, boy, that's a pretty solid backup point guard? And then they go to San Antonio and they get starter numbers.
Right.
George Hill comes to mind, but a bunch of other guys too. And Campaign's going to fall right into that tradition, and they're going to be a fun team to watch. And I think he's going to be a part of it.
And you're going to have the Phoenix fans probably in the next couple of years saying, see, look, we let this guy go and look how good he is now. but he's in a situation in San Antonio where he can be that guy. And you can't look at it that way. You have to look at it as we need to free up some money. We need to do some other things here to build with around the top guys that we have. We've gotten our guys. Now let's build around them and do what we need to do. So it's the right move by Phoenix. And that's me saying that. I think this is a smart move.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Keon.
I would say Ralph was talking about how important it was to free up that cap space. The Suns were actually second with being the furthest over the cap by the time they'd done all of their wheeling and dealing. And now moving on from campaign and some of the other moves that they've made, they've actually dropped down to 5. But they're behind Dallas, the Clippers, the Timberwolves, and the Warriors. So now they're back again in a position where in the event they need to maneuver some more, they've got the room.
So this also brings up the fact that with all these different trades and the cap that they're kind of against the cap right now, actually over the cap, even though they saved some money on this trade, and they have to build out the rest of this roster. That means probably in February, DeAndre Ayton's probably not going anywhere. Even though they brought in Bol, they're probably looking long term, at least this season. DeAndre Ayton stays with the Phoenix Suns. I don't know that I'm sad about that. If they can get him to play.
I think you have to give Frank Vogel a chance to kind of work with him and see what he's got. And that'll be his decision. I think if my experience with Frank Vogel is I think that if they get halfway through this season and he just sees this guy is just not worth it, he's going to probably move him or try to move him. That's what I think. But I think you have to at least give him the opportunity in the new development. So
yeah, I mean, the relationship between Monty and DeAndre just fell apart completely. And there was no real communication. You know, they had that whole summer after their fight. They come back the following season. They ask Monty, hey, have you talked to DeAndre? No. Well, you're the head coach. How does that happen? You know, like that relationship was dead. So now you've got a new head coach. Let's see if they could build something new. And if they can, and DeAndre buys in, then there is no point in moving him.
888-368-1580. In other Suns news, this came out according to CBS Sports, CBSSports.com. James Herbert had this to say. Suns owner Matt Ishbia denies that Isaiah Thomas had anything to do with the Chris Paul trade. Are you believing him?
I mean, they've been hanging out together. I don't know how much I believe him, but I think I believe that Matt Ishbia is smart enough to know that he has to deny that. I think he's aware of what the optics on that looks like, both with, Isaiah's history as a general manager. It's not good. And just the fact that you already have a general manager, and it does look bad if you're taking advice from some other guy that's not James Jones.
So is it Sopan Deb is the one who interviewed Chris Paul in the New York Times? I guess that's where Chris Paul said repeatedly, Matt and Isaiah wanted to go in a different direction. This came after Chris Haynes from Turner Sports reported that Matt Ishbia said that although Isaiah Thomas is a great friend of his, it's not someone that he has in a prominent role with the Phoenix Suns. Do you believe Matt Ishbia? And do you believe, Ralph, that Thomas had nothing to do with moving CP3 out of Phoenix?
I don't believe him. And I think he had something to do with it.
So why don't you believe him? What's telling you that?
I don't believe anybody.
Well,
I think for all the
do you believe
reasons,
Keon?
I do believe Keon. When it comes to basketball, especially, I believe in Keon, and I think it makes a lot of sense that there was something there. So do I know for a fact? No, but I don't believe
it's just Isaiah's hanging out with Matt Ishbia on the sideline of all these games. Even if Matt Ishbia wasn't specifically seeking out Isaiah Thomas, just having those conversations with him, there's no way you can convince me that didn't influence his thinking on any level. And also, I just don't know why Chris Paul would lie about that.
Well,
it just seems like it's
stupid.
It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things who decided to trade him. He's not on the team anymore.
I don't want to ruffle feathers here, but who really cares? I mean, CP3 is gone. We knew that was a move that needed to be made. I didn't like the fact that he was gone. I was bittersweet, but I knew it was the right move. They had to move on from CP3 if this team was going to go anywhere. You couldn't keep having Chris Paul on the bench. I mean, he's not a coach. He's the damn point guard of the team. And if he can't play because he's injured for whatever reason or not, then you got to move him along. You got to get somebody in here who's going to help this team win. And although Chris Paul, in my opinion, helped change the culture of the Phoenix Suns when he got here. Remember all the stuff that was going on? I still believe that Chris Paul was very instrumental in helping this team become a championship contender. Now, have we won anything? No, we've gone to the finals once. We were going again, and then Dallas beat us terribly in Game 7 after we let them back in. After we had our foot on their neck, we let them back in, and they ended up burning us. And then we saw what happened last season. But the bottom line is, for change to happen, sometimes there needs to be some limbs cut off. And CP3, in my opinion, it was the right move to move him on. And they didn't do him dirty. Look, he ended up with the Golden State Warriors. I mean, he's got a great chance to win a championship before he calls it a career.
Sure, with a team that he's historically hated, but like that has happened to a lot of guys. I mean, think about how weird it was when Barkley was in Houston with the Rockets, and it was him and Pippen down there. That was like, they hated each other, and then all of a sudden they're teammates. Like it happens a lot that at this stage in Chris Paul's career, where you don't necessarily have the say so in where you wind up. That's going to be what it is, but also you end up being able to contribute on a team like that. Like they didn't move on from Jordan Poole to have Chris Paul do nothing. He's going to have an opportunity to show what he can do.
Yeah, I think it was good for CP3 to move on. He probably was hurt. He probably wanted to stay here with the Suns, as like a big brother or an uncle or something, and wanted to see this thing through to fruition. But look, it's new owner, new head coach, new regime. Changes happen. Chris Paul's going to be fine. And I know that he knows this is the business. It's the way it is. I don't see what matters, whether it was Matt Ishbia and Isaiah Thomas or not. Who really cares? It's done, and it's time to move on. All right, speaking of moving on, that's 1 hour in the books of this Monday edition of the Daily Blender. Remember, you're listening for Santa's reindeer during the show today. We'll be talking about it. Be listening closely. And then text in if you think you've heard it at 888-368-1580. You could win a $50 gift card. We'll be back with more Daily Blender after this.
Would you like to access some of the equity in your home without refinancing? No reason to refinance and lose that great low rate that you have on your current mortgage. Desert Equity Lending can get you the home equity line of credit you've been looking for. It's fast, it's easy, and it may not even require tax returns. That's right. We can use bank statements to qualify you. Most banks require at least 2 years of tax returns and many other supporting documents. When the big banks say no, we say yes. You can have your home equity line in as little as 15 days. We have a simplified process that helps get you a home equity line of credit in half the time using half the documentation that the big banks require. It's never been easier. Call now, 602-509-3000. That's 602-509-3000. Find out just how easy it is to get a home equity line of credit without jumping through all the hoops at a big bank. Call Desert Equity Lending at 602-509-3000. 602-509-3000. Desert Equity Lending NB 0906989 NMLS number NMLS 173369. Conditions and restrictions apply.
Go into Ben Bridge and ask to speak to a bridge. They aren't there. Shane Company, no one named Shane there. Robbins Brothers has been owned by a VC firm for years. Jared, that name came from a focus group. Hi, Diamond Dave Cantor, the only wholesale 4th generation diamond importer, GI graduate that you can actually meet in person. At Desert Wholesale Diamond, I'm importing the diamonds, designing and coordinating the custom rings, and I'm here. Deal with a full bore retail store. You're paying their huge overhead, their shareholder profit, and multiple mid-level managers. Buying a diamond is a major life moment purchase. You should be dealing with the source, and I'm it. We're in a professional office building to give you the one-on-one service a purchase like this deserves. I'm connected to the largest diamond cutters in the world, cutting out all the layers that add to the price of a diamond.
Call 480-397-2450. That's 480-397-2450. Or follow Dave on Instagram at Diamond Dave Cantor. That's at Diamond Dave, Kantor.
Greg Clark Automotive trains certified technicians located on the southwest corner of Bethany Home and 19th Avenue, servicing Valley automobiles 44 summers now, offering our summer cooling system inspection diagnosis on the belts, water pump, radiator, and hoses. Every air conditioning service includes a dye injection to find leaks. Contact us today at 602-246-2881 and online at gregclarkautomotive.com. Mention 1580 and get 10% off of labor.
To protect her home and family in a disaster, Karen was willing to wade through water, mud, and insurance paperwork.
Yeah, I can do this.
You go, Karen! By simply understanding and updating what her insurance covers and doesn't cover now, she'll be better prepared no matter when disaster strikes. Learn other simple ways to protect your home and family before a natural disaster at ready.gov. That's ready.gov. A message from FEMA and the Ad Council.
KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM.
And K240U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
All right, people, settle down. Because it's time.
Time for what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
Welcome, everybody, to Monday, the 4 o'clock hour of the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3. The Fanatic right over there. That is the sexiest man in sports talk radio, Keon Rose. Next to him, the man, the myth, the legend, Ralph Romano from Harmon Solar. My name is Randy White. Jeffrey O'Brien is en route today, in transit. He'll be back tomorrow. And you are the fourth dimension texting in on the text line at 888-368-1580 as we broadcast live from the Harmon Solar Studios in beautiful uptown Scottsdale. Congratulations, everybody. You did it. We have tied the record, 118 degrees, 18 days in a row of 110 or more temperature out here. That is a very dubious honor that we will carry, I'm sure, into our graves as we all start falling over from the intense heat. By the way, if you're out about, please make sure you're hydrating. In all seriousness, we don't want to see anybody get ill. I understand for those of you who know Jason Aldean is, apparently he was overheated at a concert. He had to walk off. Make sure that you have plenty of fluids on hand. You're drinking water throughout the day. Excuse me. You're taking every opportunity to stay in a cool place. You're wearing light clothing, something that's not going to be too restrictive. And, just be careful out there. There is some chances of thunder showers. I heard from my good friends at the Weather Service talking about the possibility of severe weather. I have not seen the radar, and I have not had a chance to put together a weather forecast, but I'll do that sometime during this hour. Also, during this hour, it is Christmas in July. That'll take your mind off of 18 straight days of 110 plus. With our good friends over at Kasai Japanese Steakhouse, you can win a $50 gift card if you hear us talk about one of Santa's reindeer. Now, we're not going to make a big fanfare about it. If you've been listening to the show, of course, you know how we're going to do this. It'll come up, one of Santa's reindeer names will come up in normal conversation. And you have to be listening for it. And no, I'm not going to tell you what today's reindeer name is. You'll just have to be listening. And if you think that you hear us talking about Santa's reindeer and you have heard the reindeer name, text it in at 888-368-1580. At the end of today, we will take everybody who has correctly guessed the name. We'll have a random number generator, and Jeffrey will pick the winner from today. Here's kind of the hook. If you're selected, you'll get $50 gift card to Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. And listen, I haven't been there personally, but I understand this is an experience like none. Now, Ralph, have you been to the Kasai? Have you been to Kasai Japanese Steakhouse?
No,
okay,
I have not.
Keon, have you had a chance to go there?
I have not had a chance to go there.
Jeffrey has, and he just raves about it. The food is phenomenal. The experience is phenomenal. And so you'll get a $50 gift card to Kasai Japanese Steakhouse if we pick your name as the winner in our Christmas in July with Kasai. Also, it gets better. Friends, put away those checkbooks. We're not done yet. Keep track of all the names we give out during the week. And on Friday, text in all those names, and you'll have another chance to win $50 from Kasai Japanese Steakhouse.
So $100.
I mean, potentially $100 towards dinner with you and the missus, or if you're one of our lady listeners, you and the mister, or take the family, or have the kids take you, or
that's awesome.
Date night. Or
now we are only using the 8 reindeer names, correct?
Ralph, there's only 8. I thought we had this discussion last week. Oh, that's right. You're going to spend eternity in Gehenna because you don't believe in Santa. That's right. I forgot about that.
Just want to make sure you're not using that 9th reindeer.
You have been condemned to hell because you don't believe in Santa Claus or Rudolph.
I believe in Santa, just not Rudolph.
Mm.
Where am I going?
He's a Rudolph truther.
Yeah, Rudolph truther. And where am I going again, Randy?
Gehenna.
Gehenna.
Yeah, Gehenna. Yeah. Just look that up. It's biblical for hell. It's proof that I have opened the Bible and I have not turned to dust. Unlike Lot's wife. And there's another one from inside the Bible. See, I know it's hard for all y'all to believe.
You're well-rounded. I get it.
Well, I am round. All right, so there it is. Christmas in July with Kasai. Your chance at potentially $100 gift card from Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. We have not said the name yet in the first hour, but that will change, I'm sure. We have until 6 o'clock, and we might say it once. We might say it, a dozen times. You don't know. You don't know. Just be ready. So last hour we talked about the Diamondbacks. Everybody, I think everybody is away from no Cardinal Art. No, that's not it. Everybody is no dubious. Mr. Wilbur is not the reindeer name. No.
It's not even a reindeer.
Dubious.
Could be. We could make another one up.
And
why not?
There it is.
Let's
Ralph,
just make them up.
And now that's 2 eternities. This just in from the North Pole. Ralph has been condemned now to 2 eternities.
2. Well, I got more.
Well, it's true. Where was I? Oh, we talked about the Diamondbacks dropped 3 games, and in a matter of 3 games went from tied for first to third place in the NL West. That just goes to show you things can change in an instant.
Yep.
In the twinkling of an eye, as it were. 888-368-1580, the fourth dimension active on there. We've talked Diamondbacks. We've talked some Phoenix Suns. Blissful Hayes says Bradley Beal will pass the ball very little as point guard. He wants to shoot the ball all the time. It'll be a lot of isolation plays with him chucking up threes.
Look.
Booker will wind to Vogel after a month and become point guard because he wants to shoot the ball all the time. Suns are going to miss CP3.
I understand that it's been hard in recent years to watch the Wizards because they are the Wizards. I will grant you that. But you just didn't watch the guy. Just say that. It's a shorter way of saying the thing that you just said. I didn't watch Bradley Beal play, so I'm guessing. Just say that. That's easier.
Heavy Metal Maniacs, our friend that is he's the beer vendor, at the Bank One ballpark. And no, I know it's Chase. I don't call it Chase. It will always be Bank One ballpark to me. Heavy Metal Maniac says, Ralph's a very nice person. I'm sure. I'm watching the live feed. You shouldn't be allowed to wear that hat you have on. Diamondbacks.
I was just thinking how good this hat looks. I don't know. That's a nice hat.
No.
I was just thinking that to myself before you read that. This is just a really nice hat.
Problem with that hat, Ralph, is that, there's certain colors you should not wear on camera. Dodger blue is one of them because it makes everything else look terrible.
You know what's nice about this hat is they have the World Series version ones. I know you can't get that with the Diamondbacks.
Oh, yes, you can. No,
I think you can get one, right? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But it's really old now. But you can get the Dodger ones.
It might be
They're
old,
really
but
nice.
it's still a chip. I mean, you could say what you want, but it's still a chip. I don't give a damn. It was 115 years ago. It's still a damn championship.
Now you sound like a Cowboy fan.
Thank you.
Or a Raider fan.
Thank you. I like Raider Nation. I have no problem with Raider Nation. And I like all these people that have been Cowboy fans forever. I have no problem with that. It's these bandwagoners, like what we see in Seattle all the time. Oh, I'm sorry. That's your team too. Sorry. Mr. Pringle, that's not going to happen. Mr. Pringle texts in, maybe the Suns should reach out to Kyler Murray so he can play point guard after he's done watching the Cardinals this fall.
Too short.
He can't play in the NBA. He's too short.
You just summed up his whole NFL career.
Baker's cocky hen says LeBron should try wearing the number 8 and see how that flies in LA.
Yeah, never happened.
Yeah, he probably won't. Also, that number's retired.
He
So
gets stoned.
he actually can't.
He's LeBron James. He can unretire it if he wants to.
No, you can't. Not possible.
Thundar wants me to know 2 eternities, Randy. That's not how eternity works. Hey, Ralph, who's in first in the NL West right now?
The Dodgers.
See, and I'm not like Jeffrey. I let you go ahead and say your miserable team's name, didn't I?
Yeah, you're better than Jeffrey. There's no doubt.
Well, I didn't say I was better. I just said
I know I did.
I allowed you to say it. I didn't have Keon cut your mic off.
Jeffrey's a suppressor.
Okay, I don't agree with that, but
he's like social media during COVID. You can't say anything around him.
King of kittens. Rando, beer me. Okay, there you go, King of kittens. Here you go. There's a cold one for you. Can't say that. I don't know that that's true. King of kittens? What's the matter with you? Pink eye, I think the Warriors give CP3 the Blake Griffin treatment. They will bury him at the end of the bench. I don't think so. Ralph, do you think that's what's going to happen with CP3?
I think he'll be I don't think he's going to get this. He's not going to be a starter. He's just going to be a key member off the bench. He's probably your 7th guy, I would think.
Which is fine.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
That's like a perfectly valid. You need a good 7th guy on a playoff team.
And I think for him, that's great because maybe it limits his injuries. And, you have him there most of the season, if not all the season, because he's not getting the major minutes. No, I think it's a good fit for him.
Heavy Metal Maniac says, that hat, Ralph, is, if you believe that Rudolph doesn't exist, and I know your hat shouldn't exist, Rudolph is real. He's the one of the 8 reindeer. He's the real. Rudolph is real. He's one of the 8 reindeer. There was never just 7.
No, they just grabbed one of the reindeer and they put a fake nose on it.
Oh, my God.
And
Can you shut his mic? This is
just
terrible.
ridiculous.
This is absolutely We've gone off the edge here.
It's not real.
We've gone over the edge here.
It's sacrilegious. It's not.
Boomer Sooner says no freaking way anyone gets Kobe's number. No freaking way.
Never.
It's just high on the list of things it's not possible to do in that organization.
They should retire that number across the NBA. In my opinion.
Do you think so?
I think they should.
Why?
Because he's Kobe. Kobe was a one of a kind. You'll never see another guy like him ever again. He was all about the game. He was all about the league. I think they should retire his number. Jackie Robinson-esque.
I don't know that I would agree with that.
Of course you wouldn't. You're a Sun fan.
Well, no, it has nothing to do with it. As a sports fan, I'm not saying anything. Kobe was a great ball player for the Lakers, but what did he do?
He was great for the NBA.
How did he impact the NBA?
Are you kidding?
Understand. No, I'm not kidding. I'm serious. We're talking about Jackie Robinson here.
I understand that. I understand the power of Jackie Robinson.
You're talking about.
I do get that.
Kobe Bryant, and we're talking about Jackie Robinson.
Okay, it's probably a bad example.
It's a terrible example.
It's not a great analogy. I will say, when you look at Kobe's impact on the game, there's like a bunch of like mini Kobe's in the league. They're like, you look at Kawhi Leonard and the way that he plays, that fadeaway jumper, that's Kobe's jumper.
Yeah.
And then I would say the same thing for Kyrie, and I would say the same thing for DeMar DeRozan. And like, so just a bunch of these guys where you just squint and you go, man, they copied him down to a T.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah, I would give you that. He's impacted the game that way. Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. But so Michael Jordan did as well. I mean, before Michael Jordan, it was not an exciting basketball game. And Michael came here and just infused the NBA with all sorts of new things that nobody had ever seen before.
The difference is if Kobe was still around, he would still be impacting the game today because he was that invested into the NBA, that invested into the basketball as a whole for youth sports and things like that. He loved the game. He had a love that I've never seen before, and he'd still be doing it right now. So, and Michael Jordan, when he was out, he was out. Magic, when he was out, he was out. I mean, Bird, when he was out, he was out.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And I have to say that as a fan of the WNBA, the WNBA's suffered as well as a result of losing Kobe, because that was the impact, I thought, where you're expanding the game to women now. That was an impact that he was having. I think that it's still growing, but the level of attention, I think the level of respect that it could have had, just isn't there without it.
All right. 888-368-1580. We got to keep moving here. So other big news, the Suns trade. We talked about that a little bit last hour. Suns freeing up some cap space and bringing Bol in, which I don't know how I feel about that. I'll be honest with you. I mean,
he's still going to be the third center.
We'll wait and see.
There's DeAndre Ayton and Drew Eubanks in front of him. This is a project.
So I got this over the weekend as well. Apparently, DeAndre Hopkins on his way to Tennessee, going to the Titans, going to the Titans. He's going to play for the Titans. And I lost my link to the story, but it was not a huge salary. It did not meet the criteria that DeAndre himself had put out there. Wanting all right, you got a head coach that's been there for a while. Okay, check. You got a defense that can win a championship in Tennessee.
I don't know if it's a championship defense, but it's a good defense. It's a good defense, and it's made better by the fact that Vrabel somehow squeezes more out of that defense than what their actual personnel is.
Yeah, but I'm talking about what DeAndre said. I want to go to a team that is a contender, has a head coach with some security, has a defense that can win championships. Titans don't have a Super Bowl winning defense.
I don't think so either, but they have a quarterback that's something that he said. They have a quarterback who's stable and invested in the game. I think Tannehill is that. And they went out and got Levis, who is somebody that they can build towards, while they're in those remaining years with Tannehill, so that there's an actual future path there. And that division's horrible. Like, they're going to win it. The AFC South is bad. What else is going on down there?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe they won't win it because Jacksonville's there, but they'll be in contention for a wild card spot. And, if Trevor Lawrence regresses even remotely, they'll be in the running to win that division. It's horrible.
Do they have a passing game that can help DeAndre, because his contract is incentive laden? He's going to have to get 95 catches to get one of the incentives. He's going to have to go over 1,000 yards receiving to get another incentive. I mean, do they have that type of quarterback there in Tennessee?
Tannehill can do that. I mean, that's what got A.J. Brown to be an Eagle. they threw the ball to him a lot. If they have a guy that they really think can go up and get it, they'll open up the passing game, and it'll be a little bit easier because they do start with the run. So it's not gonna be the double teams that he's used to seeing. He's gonna get a lot of more one-on-ones than what he normally gets. They'll throw it.
You know what I think the market wasn't what he thought it was. I think he thought he was going to go out there and there was going to be all these people clamoring for him, throwing dollars at him. And I think when it was all said and done, that really wasn't what happened. And Tennessee offered up $15 million a year. Is that what he got?
Yeah. Is it 12 a year plus incentives? Right. Something like that.
I think he didn't see what he thought he was going to see, and he went to Tennessee. Because if that's the team he was looking for, I mean, that's a joke. I mean, I'm with you, Randy. I don't think that's the situation where he really wanted to go.
Annual salary is $13 million a year.
Yeah. So
there you go.
He didn't get, what was he asking for with the Cardinals?
Well, he wasn't asking. He
just wanted out.
He didn't even ask to leave. They just released
the Cardinals
him.
just released him. Yeah.
They wanted to go in another direction and figured, well, we could just save the cap space if we move on now.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm sure behind the scenes he was probably saying, I want out.
He was saying he didn't mind it. He liked being here. He liked the organization. He's the kind of guy, he never made a stink about wanting to leave or anything like that. I just think that the Cardinals looked at it and said, look, our starting quarterback is going to be injured until like week 9. And so we're already probably doing a tank mode thing. We're not in a position where a wide receiver who's about to be, in his 30s is somebody we're building around right now.
Yeah.
So they moved on from him and the money, and they'll take the dead money cap hit this year, but they'll be free of the rest of the contract, for the rest of it. So it was just a move that they decided to make right now because they didn't do him any favors. If he really wanted to make some money, they could have released him at a better point in free agency before teams had already filled out a whole lot of what their rosters were going to be.
Yeah. All right. So we'll talk about this more. We got to take a break here. When we come back, we'll talk more about the DeAndre Hopkins effect there in Tennessee. What does this mean for the Cardinals as well? Now that he shipped off somewhere else, how does this impact the Cardinals and their wide receiver room? And also, does DeAndre make that big of an impact in Tennessee? Does this make them a contender? We'll talk about it and get your text also from the text line at 888-368-1580 on the Daily Blender here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Right now at Wendy's, when you buy either a Dave's single, spicy chicken sandwich, medium frosty, or 10-piece nuggets, you can get another for just $1. Your dollar never tasted so good. So it's obvious what everyone will get, right?
Definitely nugs
Spicy
and
chicken
a frosty.
sandwich,
Dave's single and a frosty for me.
and a frosty.
Okay, who said frosty and a frosty? Pick your obvious choice. Choose wisely. Choose Wendy's, buy one, get one for $1.
Limited time only. Price of participation may vary. U.S. Wendy's, valid for item of equal or lesser value. Cannot be combined in a combo or any other offer.
Will Shakespeare here. Back in my day, I invented over 1,700 slang words like swagger, bedazzled, and my personal favorite, besmirch. But even I have trouble understanding slang words like yeet or bougie or
this is fire.
Actually, it is extremely smooth Shakespeare vodka.
Okay, boomer.
See what I mean? But there is one word that describes the pure quadruple distilled spirit crafted from an 8th century Polish recipe the first time you try it.
So lit.
I couldn't have said it better myself. Shakespeare vodka. So lit.
There's a storm coming, crackling with lightning, pounding with thunder. A storm that crosses all borders and oceans. This is the NFL. Coming this fall, experience all the regular season games, playoffs, and the ultimate prize. Super Bowl 58, live from Las Vegas. The NFL returns to 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, your exclusive home for the NFL and Super Bowl 58.
It's a Daily Blender on a Monday, July 17th, here on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, as we're heading towards 6 o'clock tonight. Text line at 888-368-1580, talking DeAndre Hopkins and the Tennessee Titans. There was some people out there in the sports landscape that were saying that it is always about the money. It's always about the money. He didn't care that it was he was going to the Titans. It didn't meet his criteria. They were criticizing DeAndre for taking this deal. And it reminded me of a lot of people here on this very radio station in the fourth dimension that were criticizing DeAndre Hopkins when he was here because he didn't practice all the time. And he would go out and have a 100+ yard game with 7 or 8 receptions and score a couple of touchdowns. And yet we would get, well, how much more would he do if he was practicing during the week? And I always remember that, Allen Iverson, practice. Did the same thing to Allen Iverson. And you talk about NBA greats. I mean, Allen Iverson, he was always kind of criticized. It's like nobody had any love for DeAndre. And what did he do? He wasn't flamboyant. He didn't come in here. He didn't, do, flamboyant things on the field. He didn't get into trouble off the field. Well, the whole steroid thing. But, other than that, I mean, he wasn't out in the clubs beating up women, or beating up delivery people like other wide receivers have done in the past. Or, somebody who's, a trainer doing stupid things to them because you're selfish and you're arrogant. You think you're not going to get in trouble. He wasn't doing any of that. He was pretty cool, pretty low key. He didn't get on Twitter and he didn't yell and scream. As a matter of fact, he tweeted out, he loves the fact that he's got doubters and haters out there. He loves it. Why do you think, Keon, everybody was, they had no love for DeAndre Hayes? Why would they want to hate on this guy?
I mean, because everybody's a critic. At some point, you just have to go, does the guy produce? And he does all the time. The DeAndre Hopkins, anytime he was on the field, he made the team better. He made the Cardinals objectively better. Look at Kyler Murray's passer rating with DeAndre Hopkins versus without it. It's night and day. Like one guy is an all-pro, the Kyler that's throwing to Hopkins, and the other guy's a starter. And that's the guy that was throwing to every other receiver on the team. He's a difference maker. He's a game changer. He came back from his suspension last year and immediately, first drive right out the gate, scores a touchdown. He just has that ability. So yeah, was the practicing an issue to some people? Sure, but those are people who are not looking at the results and they want to find something to nitpick, and they found something to nitpick. But I don't think that there's any real good reason.
2020 played in 16 games, had 115 receptions, 160 targets, had 1,400 yards, averaged 12.2 yards per catch, 6 touchdowns. He looks like he lost 3 fumbles, or it looks like he lost 2 fumbles. He had 3 fumbles total. In 2021, he was injured those few games. He still was, 42 of 64. 572 yards, even though he only played 10 games. And you can blame a lot of this on the Cardinals offense too, because I think he would be much more productive given the opportunity. I mean, just 2019, he had 104 receptions. He went 1,165 yards. 2018 with the Houston Texans, he had 115, went 1,500 yards. It would seem like everybody was criticizing him.
Well, I agree with Keon. I think the Cardinals were better with Hopkins in the lineup. There's no doubt Murray was better. But for me, it's a character thing, right? People will sit there and just skate over the fact that, well, he never practiced. That's a character thing, but that's also a culture thing. I don't blame him 100% for that. I also blame Cliff Kingsbury. He allowed that to happen, right? To me, a player needs to practice, needs to put the work in, needs to be an example. And a guy that doesn't want to practice or doesn't practice, the AIs of the world, the Hopkins of the world, to me, that's just a bad character thing. And I don't like it. I mean, to me, I just don't like it as a fan. I want to see guys work and earn it. But the coach there and the culture there allowed that to happen. So I'm not going to blame him 100%. But yeah, he was great on the field. He produced. He was the best receiver you had by far. It was not even close.
I was looking at some of the Titans team sites. The fans there are already criticizing. The fans there are already beating him up. He hasn't even shown up there.
About what?
Yeah, they don't want to. They don't want him there. Like you don't want him there.
They'll be better with him.
They played 9 games with DeAndre Hopkins last year. He had 700 yards.
Yeah, I mean, they'll be better with Hopkins.
He almost got to 1,000 yards in about half a season.
It's guaranteed he's going to get you 1,000 yards. Guaranteed.
No, he's been getting 1,000 yards. You have to go back to 2016 to find the last year he didn't get 1,000 yards. And I'm sorry, he got 954. So he was just about there.
What has to happen is like the football Cupid need to go there and shoot his arrows and make the team disgruntled haters lighten up a little bit and let DeAndre get there and prove himself. Is that what has to happen?
He needs to go there and work his butt off and actually show up to practice and do the things that he knows to do. I mean, that's just me. I don't know. I mean, I don't think I'm alone on that. I think people want to see guys go to practice, work hard, not just perform on the field. That's just me. But
now, to me, I I would prefer that a guy practice because I don't, but that's mostly because of the results. Usually people who don't practice don't get great results. Like those two things are very much connected. But if a guy's got 1,000 yards every damn year of his career, just about, I'm not going to be the person that starts nitpicking right there. Bill Parcells used to say this, people would wonder, how come Lawrence Taylor gets to get away with stuff that other guys can't get away with? And then Parcells would turn to him and go, because he's Lawrence Taylor.
He's Lawrence Taylor.
Like on Sunday, I line him up and he blows quarterbacks away.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Like you practice because you're not Lawrence Taylor. If I line you up anywhere on a Sunday, you don't give me what Lawrence Taylor gives me. So like, if you want to go after the guy for the practices and stuff like that, fine. I understand to a degree that doesn't set a great example for others. Like there's definitely plenty of reasons why you would want that. But if you're just fine with the results that you get on a Sunday, he's going to give you that.
I think if he stays healthy this year, and I'm sure he takes very good care of himself, he's always in good shape. As a matter of fact, he even plays. They played, 2 seasons. I know he had an injury with the Cardinals, especially down the stretch. He had an ankle injury, and he didn't complain about it. He just went out there and did his best.
I mean,
I almost guarantee this season he's going to have probably 1,500 yards receiving with Tannehill, and then you've got a running game. Are you kidding me? With King Henry back there, that's going to give him the opportunity. They're not going to stack the box. They can't when you have DeAndre Hopkins out there.
He was a really good receiver in a really bad receiving room. I don't know the receiving room that they have in Tennessee. Maybe King could help us, but I'm not sure what they have there. But and King Henry is starting to lose a step, so I think that's going to impact it as well. He's not what he was 2 years ago.
He's about to be the greatest receiver in that receiver.
So it's another bad room.
Yeah, it's another bad room. I mean, Nick Westbrook, Treylon Burks is a good player, but he's got to hold on to the football more. I mean, it's just that simple. You get the ball in his
maybe
hands,
with
he runs
having
people
D-Hop
over.
around, he teaches him some stuff.
I mean, maybe
if he's at practice, yeah.
So that happens. I mean, D-Hop does go to practice. He just wasn't always out there doing the drills and stuff, but he was there. It wasn't like
blame him.
He just flat out never showed up to any of it at all.
During the season, if he's your number one guy, you go out there, you want him to go out there and blow out an ACL in practice.
And then part of it too was you mentioned some of the injuries he was dealing with, and they were just like, listen, if you can tough it out throughout the week, and we hold you back from practice, if you can show up on Sunday and play, we'd rather have that than have you try and grit your teeth through practices, and then maybe you give us a quarter on Sunday.
I mean, Randy, can you imagine Jerry Rice not being out at practice ever? No, he was out there, right? The greatest receiver ever to play the game, but he was out there and he was doing his thing, being an example for the young guys.
I mean, and I appreciate that, but there's something also to be said, especially in these days and times, of a guy going out there in practice and blowing out an ACL and not being useful to a team at all.
No, I understand. I do understand.
I mean,
that.
It could be different for Jerry Rice if he would have gone out there, which, by the way, he was always giving 110, and I appreciate that characteristic in him. But at the same time, if Jerry had injured himself in practice, would he have been Jerry Rice today?
As part of it is that Jerry Rice was just made out of steel, and so
that's it.
He just wasn't getting
just
hurt.
Incredible conditioning.
But it's what made him great. He always worked on his game, no matter what.
Yeah.
888-368-1580. Sorry, go ahead.
I was also going to say about the running game. I know that King Henry's kind of lost a step, but man, they replaced him with Tyjae Spears, half the season, and it didn't matter. It was just another guy with locks out there running over people. It was a smaller guy, but they couldn't catch him. I don't know.
I think their running game's going to improve just because of the fact that DeAndre Hopkins is out there now. Defenses are going to have to pay attention to D-Hop. They're just going to. 888-368-1580. Mr. Pink Eye says, is it Frosty? No.
Notably, not a deer.
No. Not really. A new texter, 7514 says, is it Rudolph? No.
Not a reindeer.
Oh, man. Ralph, boy, you are. I don't want to be near you.
You said real reindeers only. So
I don't want to be near you when the lightning hits. Big George,
in the seat next to me.
You know the whole. God, I hope not.
On a plane.
You can't keep your hands off me anyway. Big George, you know the whole war on Christmas thing. they're always talking about. Most of the time, it's not real. But Ralph is single-handedly starting a war on Christmas. Randy, we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Well, so here's the problem. I'm not pushing buttons today. And I don't think Keon has that song.
I actually don't. I don't think there is.
So
interesting.
I mean, I could.
Don't make me fire my soundboard up.
I mean, the FCC won't allow that to happen again. No.
It cost us enough last time.
Oh my God. I think Ron's still paying the fine. What did he say? A little Christmas? Is that what he's looking for?
Mm-hmm.
Need a little Christmas? There you go, Big George. Mr. Pringle, Keon talking sports out his keister again. What? What?
Wow.
Pringle, you need to put your plastic lid on and go sit on the shelf in the pantry, okay? You just need to take it easy. Wow. How about we just give you, how about we give you a little rest so you can go sit in the pantry? There you go, Mr. Pringle.
Damn. Oh, fire.
Hefty lefty. Hopkins wanted to buck the trend of elite receivers going to Tennessee to fade into obscurity. Julio Jones, Andre Johnson, Randy Moss.
Yeah, I
like
forgot about
Mouse.
Randy Moss in Tennessee.
Randy Mouse.
Try to
You got to
forget
say it
that
like
happened.
that. Randy Mouse. Got to
Randy
have that kind of
Mouse.
that little twang in there. Randy Mouse. The Erectinator.
Just move on.
What does a short flight and Ralph have in common?
Oh boy.
What does a short flight and Ralph have in common? Any takers?
No.
Keon?
I don't know.
No nuts.
Wow. Can we change his name to Limp Biscuit, please?
Wow.
He's Limp Biscuit from here on out.
Blissful Hayes has got the answer here for us. When one player doesn't practice, it creates tension with his teammates. Those teammates think, if he's not practicing, why should I practice?
Agreed.
But and Ralph kind of alluded to this. Cliff Kingsbury was your coach.
Yep.
He wasn't making anybody practice anyway. What? I mean,
boy, is that
you
true.
show up in OTAs with the orange slices. I mean, what are you doing?
I mean,
like literally with the orange. I mean, I still can't.
Baker's Cocky Hens. Cards fans are spoiled. You had Fitz and Bolden at the same time. Well, that's true. That's true. And I can remember time when Fitz would take a Veterans Day off of practice.
But
Let's
not compare Fitz with the Hopkins.
Oh, I'm not. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Fitz was a totally different guy.
Like DeAndre Hopkins, Fitzgerald would take occasional Veterans Day off of practice. Yeah. And I think at this point in the NFL, I think guys are starting to do that to protect them. See, we've made these athletes become their own brand. And a lot of where I'm coming from is their thinking is, I have to protect my brand. You see what I mean? My legs, my body is all I have to make money with, and make it while I can reap it in while the reaping is good. And if I go out and practice and I hurt myself, I turn an ankle, I have to have surgery, it slows me down. Bam, I just lost how many millions of dollars?
Yeah, I agree with you. We've gone from a culture of I need to work harder to be able to make money to I need to protect my brand. You're right, because back in the day, those guys busted their butts to get a little bit more money on their contract, and they weren't paid the way these guys are paid now.
Oh, yeah, no way.
And even then, not everybody was like we talk about Jerry Rice and how hard Jerry Rice worked. There were nights where Michael Irvin should have been in bed. Instead, that dude was out there partying, and again, you show up on Sunday and produce. Like, Jimmy Johnson's not gonna stop you from doing what you're doing. I do think that, it depends greatly on the coach, and I think that Cliff Kingsbury wasn't the coach that was structured enough for having one guy get to be an exception. I don't think that he was the kind of person that could rein everybody else in, and that's where I think the practicing stuff hurts. But it didn't impact his ability to play the game when you needed him to play on Sunday. And I have trouble going after a guy like that.
Chiefs Goal, for some reason, says Captain Kirk Cousins walks on 10,000 lakes. Chief Skull apparently been drinking today.
Yeah.
All right, we've got more text to take as we continue on this Monday edition of the Daily Blender. And we, of course, got your texts at 888-368-1580. Be listening for that reindeer name. Has it already been said? Maybe. Maybe not. Got to keep listening to 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Hello, everyone. Desert Equity Lending is back again with a mortgage product that we have all been waiting for. We are excited to offer once again the no document loan that we all remember from years ago. That's right. It's a true no document loan. Remember when stated income loans were available? They were the most popular mortgages available for self-employed, as well as for those borrowers that couldn't quite show enough income to qualify using regular underwriting guidelines. This new no doc loan is changing the way people get approved for a mortgage. Listen to this. No income, no problem. No tax returns, no problem. It doesn't take perfect credit to qualify either. If you have a good down payment and decent credit, you need to call now. These mortgages are being approved for primary residence as well as a second home. We are doing it the old-fashioned way. We use common sense underwriting to approve what other banks walk away from. Call 602-509-3000 to talk with a real person that can get you answers in hours, not days. That's 602-509-3000. Make the call. You will be glad you did. Desert Equity Lending. Desert Equity Lending, MB 0906989, NMLS 1733369. Conditions and restrictions apply.
One of the most common questions people ask is if they can still afford to retire on $1 million or $2 million anymore. With stocks near all-time highs and bonds at all-time lows, it's actually a great question. 2008 taught millions of retiring engineers, teachers, and other professionals a costly lesson that years of market gains can be wiped out in just weeks of market losses. Not a problem if you're 30 years old with a few decades to make it back, but not if you are in retirement or almost there. I like to follow the 30, 50, 70 rule. The closer you are to 50 or 70, then at least 30 to 50% of your money should be kept safe at all times, like in an uncapped, principal secure, next generation annuity. Come and see why.
Call leading annuity authority Steve Jurich now at 480-902-3333. Guarantees rely on the financial strength of the insurer, so compare with Steve. Call 480-902-3333 and visit iqannuity.com.
Seems like everything is going electric these days. Electric cars, electric trucks. But what you save on gas, you pay for with that electric bill. With all these things being plugged into your house, wouldn't it be nice to save up to 85% on your monthly electric bill? Well, you can do that with zero down and no payments for 12 months. Call Harmon Solar. Harmon Solar is a family-owned, woman-owned local company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar, 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189. Or go to harmonsolar.com.
If it's local, we talk about it.
1580 and 99.3.
The Fanatic.
We will be talking college football in just a few moments. First, let's go to the text line here on the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. That Chiefs goal text has still got me confounded. Captain Kirk Cousins walks on 10,000 lakes. I'm wondering what the hell does that mean?
Because Kirk Cousins said in, I don't know if it was in the quarterback show or someone asked him about it, but he basically said it doesn't matter if you walk on water. Your critics will be mad that you didn't swim or something like that.
Okay.
Which,
all right.
Nothing in his career even close to resembles walking on water. So I have no idea what he's talking about, but sure.
Raven Kidd on the text line says, personally, I'm a big fan of Keon's takes. So Raven Kidd, there you go, Keon. Raven Kidd is your number one fan.
Well, thanks, Raven Kidd.
Hefty Lefty says, laugh all you want at the orange slices, but you didn't see any Cardinal players getting scurvy. So I'd say that was a success.
Look, I mean, if your goal was to avoid vitamin C deficiency, mission accomplished. Mission accomplished. I'll give you that.
We pirate times? What the hell's going on? Boomer Sooner has got a plethora of texts. A plethora, I tell you. Hang on a second. Let me scroll up here. July 7th. Boy, Boomer, you've been busy. You see, the way this thing works, let me explain something to you. The way that this text line works is if you keep texting, it moves you up higher and higher on the list. So I never get to see it until you slow the hell down, Boomer Sooner. Slow the hell down. Let's see. Since we've been on the air, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 texts.
Wow.
Boomer Sooner. And then you have the audacity to ask if I've been drinking. Hell no, I haven't been drinking, but I should after you send 10 texts in rapid succession. Thank you.
I think we all need a drink.
All right, so let's start here. The first one here. Hot damn, Boomer Sooner is blazing. Can I get an ice cold beer, please?
Absolutely.
Go ahead. Yeah. Next. Why did you guys say Rudolph so much? Okay, go ahead. Minutes ago. Okay, go ahead. No freaking way anyone gets Kobe's number. Next. Rudolph. Next. That's what an NBA team has done. They retired Jordan's jersey out of respect. He never played for them. I don't know what the hell that means. Did we talk about retiring Jordan's jersey?
Kobe's.
Yeah, we did mention Kobe's, though. I suppose in a world where you respect the basketball greatness and the impact of the game, I don't think maybe you should retire Kobe's before you retire Jordan's.
All right, a minute, 1 minute later. So you got to understand. So at 4:07 minutes ago was the text. At 4:10, 3 minutes later, no freaking way anyone gets Kobe's number. A minute later, Rudolph. A minute later, that's what an NBA team has done. They retired Jordan's jersey out of respect. He never played for them. A minute later, Kilby started and ran a girls' basketball camp. Die on the way to that facility to coach his daughter. A minute later.
Did he say Kilby?
He said Kilby.
Wow.
That's
Kilby.
It's horrible.
I think it was a mistype. I hope.
Maybe. Actually, it's Boomer Sooner. It actually might have been. not even being insulting. The speech to text has not been kind to one Boomer Sooner.
Especially when you have an Oklahoma accent. So yeah.
Probably Kobe, but it was probably voice to text.
Let's hope
Kilby.
so. Let's hope so.
And then 12 minutes later, come on, man. Bambi was the greatest. We're still reading Boomer Sooner's text, ladies and gentlemen. Go ahead and talk amongst yourselves. We'll get back to the show in just a moment.
Bambi is a deer, but not a reindeer. There is a difference.
And then 2 minutes after that, Randy, you been drinking? And then at 4:37, right before our break, don't say we caused this. The media does it. I guess assuming that the media has caused professional athletes to consider themselves as brands.
Boomer Sooner, if you just look at your own phone and all of the things that you have sent, do you see how people would be confused that you'd be accusing someone else of being drunk?
I had to take a drink of water. I was parched.
It would be a little.
It's all right, Boomer Sooner. It's okay.
A little bit of the pot calling the kettle black is what
it's
I'm
okay.
saying.
You gotta just get. I don't know if he smokes, but he's from Oklahoma. I didn't think they did that there.
Are you kidding? There's a store on every corner.
What, in Oklahoma?
Oh my gosh! Every single
cannabis stores in Oklahoma.
Every single corner.
The damn Bible Belt of the country.
Yeah, full of pot.
Oh my god!
And it says a lot.
Listen, I appreciate you, Boomer Sooner. I appreciate that you text into the show. It took me a bit because, like I said, every time you text in, it goes back up to the top. See, I don't go from the top down. I go from the lightest. From the longest amount of time waiting on the text line towards the top, which is a few seconds ago. That's the way I work the text line. Maybe Jeffrey does it differently. I'm sure he does. I'm sure Keon does it his way. And Ralph's never allowed to use the text line ever.
Banned. Because I'll answer.
Because if you insult Ralph will just call your number. That's
yeah.
We're not allowed to do that.
We'll never get to any sports content. Ralph will be arguing with everybody
the whole time.
Blissful Hayes. Maybe the NFL, NBA, and MLB should ban practice for these snowflakes. I don't know Blissful Hayes' physical dimensions, but I think it would be funny if, I don't know, maybe one of these offensive linemen, the 6'6", 6'7", 320-pound guys.
Paris Johnson.
Well, yeah, Paris Johnson. That's a good example. Thank you very much.
The most recent card. Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe. Where to hear that? See what they. I mean, I don't think that's the case. I don't think these guys are snowflakes. I just think
not all.
They are mindful of. Well, there's some, sure. Well, but there's some. Anyway. I mean, Ralph, I'm sure in your business, I've seen people that are snowflakes as well. I got it.
Of course,
I got it. I understand. King of Kittens, rain in Prescott and hail in Tucson this afternoon.
Okay.
We're not in either of those places, but good for both of those places.
Random texter says Boomer Sooner's name needs to be changed to Text to Sooner. Well, text a lot of Sooner. Texter. He's just rambunctious. He's excited to be a part of the show. I have no problem with that. SEC Media Days, college football getting underway here. Keon, I saw you before we were on the show. You were sort of vibrating back there. You're very excited I could see you physically were shaking behind the board because all the media days have happened. I know you've been to some of these media days. I know you were very excited. You're a very much the fan of college football, as am I. Ralph, I'm sure you are as well.
Huge.
But these media days have happened, and the SEC. A lot of people watch the SEC for right reasons. There's a lot that happens in the SEC. I mean, generally the national championship runs through the SEC, and so during his keynote address today, Greg Sankey, the SEC commissioner, he went out there and he said the NIL is a great thing, allowing athletes to capitalize on their success. Their brand. Anyway, one of the most pressing issues that need to be addressed is structure within the NIL process. Sankey, along with Alabama coach Nick Saban and a host of other college coaches and administrators, have visited Washington, D.C., which is where I want to go, earlier this summer to urge lawmakers for federal legislation governing the process. That's it. Let's go ahead and get the government involved with college football NIL.
Because they've never screwed up anything else.
Never.
Let's go ahead and get the government involved with millions and millions of dollars in NIL money that's supposed to go to these college athletes. But let's get the government involved, shall we? This is not one of the wiser things that he's got to be an educated man to be the SEC commissioner. This is not one of the most brightest things I could have heard him say. But Keon, what do you think about what Greg Sankey had to say in his keynote address at the SEC Media Week kickoff?
I do think that the NIL needs some structure. I don't think that it needs to come from the government. I'm trying to understand what it is about the NIL that makes, I think, these institutions want to make or have the government involved. I mean, I understand why on a personal level, like they obviously want some of these caps on money to be absolutely codified so that they can control players a little bit more. But this is the Pandora's box they opened. They could have dealt with NIL before and they didn't. And so now it's here and it's the wild, wild west and no one seems to have any control. And it's bizarre that the NCAA still exists. And Greg Sankey didn't say, let's go to Indianapolis, Indiana, the headquarters of the NCAA, and get some of these regulations in place as to how this stuff is going to be implemented. He said, let's go to the government. So that I don't understand anymore exactly what they hope to accomplish, but they plan on making this, I think, much more rigid so that players can't get just whatever they want. But I'm like, that. Why should there be a cap on that? If a player has a certain value to a company, what's stopping you from doing that? Like, why are we trying to figure out how to cap the players and restrict the players from getting money the school doesn't have to spend? The school is not paying the player. The school isn't getting the athlete money. There may be partnerships that can be created, but other than that, the school is not responsible for making sure everybody gets paid or even making sure everybody gets paid equally. Caleb Williams is just going to make more money than his offensive lineman teammate. That's just the reality of it. Why are we working our way through that on a federal level? That just seems odd to me.
Well, I mean, you can just say goodbye to about 50% of that NIL money, because if the government gets involved, because they'll figure out a way to start lining their pockets. Well, absolutely, Mr. Sankey. The Congress representative recognizes Mr. Greg Sankey for bringing more and more hundreds of millions of dollars. I mean, asking our help in working together with these spectacular college athletes to pay us. I mean, to get paid. Of course, by all means, allow us to get involved in this and really hamstring everything and everybody. Meanwhile, I mean, we will somehow, of course, we'll have to be paid to spend our very important time. I mean, of course, we will volunteer our time. See what I'm saying?
And if you
that's
go
how
on
that's going to go down.
This NIL website, like, most of these athletes aren't getting anything. I mean, almost nothing. There's one posting that I saw of an athlete that'll basically send you a personalized video for $15. Like, I don't even think it's worth his time to do that. But they're just trying to figure out how to make money any way they can, because most of them really aren't making money off of NIL. So I feel like the SEC and Nick Saban and a bunch of these other guys, they're kind of running up the score, trying to restrict a lot of these guys, because the people who you're going after, the Caleb Williamses, the Arch Mannings, the people making a ton of cash, they are the minority of athletes.
And why are they I mean, this is a dangerous conversation, right? I mean,
no kidding.
You're going to start wanting to limit what people can make in a free economy or a free society, a capitalistic society. No, you can't do that. If they have the right to make millions upon millions of dollars, and let them do it, they put enough of time and effort into their whole lives to get to this point. They need to get paid. Let them get paid. Stop having this conversation. It's very dangerous in a lot of ways from where it can go from here. It's a little scary.
Is Nick Saban going to start capping his own boosters?
Exactly.
Is he going to start limiting the amount of money that Alabama can take from outside sources?
That's right. Amen.
Is Greg Sankey going to do it?
Well, by all means, we will, the Honorable Congress and the President of these United States will be more than happy to take your money. I mean, to assist you with this NIL the problem that you have. Don't look over here. There's nothing happening. All right. It's the most ridiculous thing I've heard of, but hey, 2 hours down, 1 to go. Hour number 3 up next over most of these same radio stations. It's the Daily Blender.
My brother-in-law died suddenly, and now my sister and her kids have to sell their home. That's why I told my husband we could not put off getting life insurance any longer. An agent offered us a 10-year, $500,000 policy for nearly $50 a month. Then we called SelectQuote. SelectQuote found us identical coverage for only $19 a month. A savings of $369 a year.
Whether you need a $500,000 policy or a $5 million policy, SelectQuote could save you more than 50% on term life insurance. For your free quote, call SelectQuote at 1-800-216-9922. That's 1-800-216-9922. Or go to SelectQuote.com. That's 1-800-216-9922. SelectQuote. We shop, you save. Full details on example policies at selectquote.com/commercials.
It's the middle of summer when your AC stops working and your safe haven becomes unforgiving terrain.
Why must get to water, honey? Call someone to fix our AC unit.
I did, and they're already here.
How long was they out?
Summers in Arizona are brutal. That's why thousands of Arizonans depend on Desert Diamond Air. From 24/7 emergency service to diagnostic checkups to full replacement, Desert Diamond specializes in both residential and commercial HVAC systems with competitive pricing and experience to service and repair all major AC brands. And with federal tax credits up to $2,000, it's a great time to replace your AC system. Go to desertdiamondair.com or call 602-362-4599. That's 602-362-4599. Or search Desert Diamond Air on your mobile phone today.
When life gets overwhelming, but you just don't feel like talking, help is only a text away. Trained and caring crisis specialists are available by text 24/7 to assist with suicidal thoughts, substance use issues, depression, anxiety, and more. You are never alone. When you need help, please text HOPE to 4HOPE. From anywhere in Arizona, text the word HOPE to 44673. This message is sponsored by Solari Crisis and Human Services.
When you run a business, you need to be in control. And while you can't control everything that happens in the world of business, you can definitely take control of your utility expenses with the help of Harmon Solar. Give them a call and see how your company can save up to 80% on that monthly electric bill with zero down and no payments for 12 months. Harmon Solar is a local family-owned company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar, 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189. Or go to harmonsolar.com.
KQFN Tempe.
Also transmitting on K25CD Phoenix at 99.3 FM.
And K240U Fountain Hills at 95.9 FM.
It's time for the third hour.
All right, people, settle down because it's time.
For what?
Showtime.
When does it start?
Right now. 3, 2, 1.
Let's get on with the show. Let's do it.
Welcome, everybody, to hour number 3 of this Monday edition of the Daily Blender as we broadcast live from the Harmon Solar Studios, beautiful uptown Scottsdale. Right over there, that's the man, the myth, the legend from Harmon Solar. It's Ralph Romano. Next to him, the sexiest man at Sports Talk Radio, that's Keon Rose. Jeffrey O'Brien is en route today, in transit. My name is Randy White, your humble servant, as we head for 6 o'clock tonight. And you are the fourth dimension, texting in at 888-368-1580. We have said the reindeer's name on this radio program, and I have not seen on the text line anybody caught it. So be listening for your chance to win a $50 gift card from Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. It's our Christmas in July with Kasai promotion that's going on. Be listening. This is your last hour here to get the Monday reindeer name of the day. It's going to be the name of one of Santa's reindeer. It's not going to be highlighted. We're going to use it in everyday conversation, just like I would be using, Keon's name or Ralph's name in everyday conversation. And we're going to say one of Santa's reindeer in everyday conversation. Once you hear it, text in 888-368-1580 and give me your guess. If you get it right at the end of the show today, we're going to send all the correct guesses to Jeffrey. He's going to generate a random number generator, and that's going to pick out the winner. On Friday, it was Donnie. Yeah, Donnie. So you have a chance to win just like Donnie did. And at the end of the week, if you keep track of all the names and you text them all in correctly, we're not going to use the 8 names by the end of the week. You got to keep track of all the names you texted in. You could win another $50 gift card from Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. That's on Friday for that additional $50 gift card. It's the Christmas in July with Kasai and 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. Text line humming along here. You can't do it that way, King of Kittens. On Dasher, on Donner, on Vomit, on Stupid. Hear me, Keon. Yeah, you can't do it that way. It's just not going to be it. Moist One, no, that's not correct. Fecal Mist, no, that's not correct. Hefty Lefty, no, that's not correct. Against the Spread, no, that's not correct. No, I'm not going to say what the Moist One, no, that's not correct. Nice try, though. Chief Skull says, was Bruce Jacobs just on again? When? I don't know when we talk about. Oh, you mean when I was going off saying, let's get the government involved with the NIL and take money from collegiate athletes? Sure. If you want to call me Bruce Jacobs from that standpoint, okay. I don't know, Ralph, what do you think? Is this a great idea that Greg Sankey, the commissioner of the SEC, has to get the government involved and regulate the NIL?
No, like I said, it's a horrible idea. You don't regulate the NIL. You leave the NIL alone. I absolutely support athletes making as much money as they possibly can. I don't think people understand the amount of time, effort, and what these athletes go through as student athletes. It's amazing. So if these guys can make money and they can make outrageous amounts of money, I'm fine with that. It doesn't hurt me, and they deserve it. Let them make it. If there's, like Keon said, if a company values an athlete to that point, all power to them, man. That's America. Let them have at it. Let them make money. The government's going to get their piece regardless. You know what? They like you said, they're going to get their piece. They're going to get their 40%. So they're happy with it. These NCAA organizations, these conferences, they all just need to back off because no one, they don't want anybody regulating what they can make, like Keon said, and all the money that these guys get. It's ridiculous. So
yeah, I mean, Nick Saban is one of the people leading the charge on this. Is Nick Saban about to put a cap on how much money they pay him? He is a state employee after all. Right. He's getting paid with tax dollars. He's not even being paid the way that these athletes are being paid. So is Nick Saban going to cap how much he makes? Because if he's not, then he should probably stay out of somebody else's money.
That's right.
Hamilton Porter, that's a good point. Have you ever realized how messed up marriage is? We love each other so much that we think we should involve the government in our relationship from here on out. And then he asked, how much money does a gymnast at LSU make? No one seems to care about that. Only football players.
Yeah. That's
well,
true.
Look, the gymnasts make a lot of money too. There is actually, people assume that because most of us don't sit down and watch gymnastics, there's no market for people who are into gymnastics. Surprise, surprise. There's a market for people who are into gymnastics.
She makes a ton of money.
There are a couple of Stanford basketball players, women's basketball players. They make a crap ton of money. Like the people you assumed wouldn't make money are actually capable of making money, which is why you don't mess with the thing.
Right. You're saying that people can actually be creative and smart and turn that into money, and that's a bad thing, right?
Yeah. Like there, people who maybe otherwise might not have been paid attention to, they figure out, okay, if I start an Instagram and show everybody what it's like to be a collegiate athlete, that's a way for me to get the attention of brands, and then I make some money. Like
that's smart.
Let people exist. What are we doing?
Right.
Have you ever really realized how messed up marriage is? I mean, it's like, you want to take Cupid's bow and throw it back at him.
I've done that.
Kiss my ass, Cupid. I know what you're doing. 888-368-1580. Moist one. What? No.
Wow.
Livy can take all my money. Livy who? Olivia Dunn. No. Thunder to the Santa Barbarian. More power to Olivia Dunn.
Yeah.
Well,
she's smart.
Fecal mist. Yes, you got it. Moist one. Yes, you got it. I don't know what I do with these now. I guess I'll
you gotta
somehow
you gotta
remember them.
I guess we can write it down or something, and then Jeffrey's got to get the number generator and
random number generator.
Mm-hmm.
How did I miss this? The moist one. How did I miss this? This damn text line sometimes. You miss some of the funniest things. I'm not going to say that. That's terrible.
You can't do all
really?
that.
I'm not going to do that either, Moist One.
A text from Moist One you can't read? I'm shocked. I'm just floored. I would never
a text
see
on
that
here
coming.
about Margot Robbie.
Oh, my Lord. No. You just leave that one alone. We'll just leave
Got another one on here about Bishop Sankey. I'm not going to do it.
I'm just going to leave all of that alone. Mm-hmm.
Tiger Paws, you got it. Blissful Haze, you got it. Against the spread, no. Not even close. Not even close. Kiss the Cook says, generated number is 69. The reindeer's name is Lumpy. I'm going to throw you in the same category as Ralph. Kiss the Cook.
I love it.
Oh, Kiss the Cook. Okay, later. You got it. You got it. Raven Kid, Olivia Dunn. How about the Cavender twins, who are local? Quite a look as well. Raven Kid, what are you doing?
We know what Raven Kid's doing.
What have you been doing?
No need to say anything else.
Bow, bow, bow.
He's the reason they're making money.
There it is. What are you doing, Raven Kid? When the sun goes down, sitting by the glow of your computer monitor.
Oh my God.
Bow, wow. Big George Vixen. No, that's not it. Hefty Lefty. Livy Dunn is the perfect example for athletes making money. And then I got the spinning beach ball. Oh, here we go. That hadn't been able to before as college athlete. You can't argue that less than 5% of her money is made because of exposure from what she does in her sport. Years past, she would have been levied ineligible. You said exposure. No Cardinal art. Sorry. It's not it. 888-368-1580. You know who's clutch, guys? Steph Damn Curry is clutch.
Mm-hmm.
His mom and dad missed it. They shouldn't have named him Steph. They should have just named him Clutch. I mean, the guy's clutch in NBA games. He's clutch when everything's on the line. And yesterday at the American Century Championship, he was clutch again. But before we get to the walk-off putt that he made, on Saturday, I was watching this American Century Championship, millionaires playing for, millions. And he's on the seventh, and it's so funny because the Golf Channel was carrying it, and they were questioning his choice of club. He went with a pitching wedge, and it was like 142 yards. And they were questioning whether he could hit the pitching wedge 142.
Dang.
And as they're questioning him, Steph just he does his swing, follows through. It one bounces, it flies the green, one bounce, and boom, in the cup. Hole in one.
Damn.
The guys on the Golf Channel suddenly look like a couple of idiots.
I am serious about this. Somebody needs to get Steph Curry in a lab so we can test his hand-eye coordination because it's not real. Like,
and then
I don't even know what that is.
And then I love his response. He throws the club in the air, throws his hat in the air, runs from the tee box 142 yards to the green and like chest bumps the pin on the green and then runs back.
I'm not going to lie. Do you know how many more people would watch golf if people reacted like Steph does? Like golf has got to be the gentleman's game and it's very uptight and we can't really, what do you mean show emotion out there on the green? Tiger Woods would hit a hole in one and then tip his cap. Like that's not going to get people excited and into the game. That's how you get people into it. Like you did something amazing. You almost can't appreciate how amazing golf is sometimes because the guys barely react. We don't see any emotion at all.
This is the whole premise of Happy Gilmore, man.
Here's Steph Curry on the seventh tee box.
Steph Curry is Happy Gilmore.
Right. It's the whole premise of that whole movie was to bring excitement to golf.
What's he got there, Steve? Oh, he's hitting a pitching wedge. I hope he can hit it that far. Here's the swing. Hey, this has got a chance. Whoop! Hey, that went in the hole. Well, I guess he can hit it. Holy cow. Steph Curry, we got to talk to you about your celebration. Stay at the green, bro. Don't run all the way back. Just stay there. It's okay.
No, run.
He ran all the way to the green. Then chest bumped the pin and then ran all the way back to the tee box.
That's awesome.
Oh, I think it was. I was walking by the TV when it happened and I raised my arms. I was like, oh, did you see that?
I wanted to chest bump somebody. I didn't just.
That's cool.
And then yesterday, he's playing in this American Century Championship. He's down and Marty Fish, the tennis player, is up, the tennis play. He's all being all serious and everything. And Steph's just being Steph. And they came to the final hole, the 18th. Okay, first of all, I hated this. So Marty Fish, he's in his backswing to tee off on the 18th. And some idiot goes, in his backswing. Okay, somebody needed to take him into Lake Tahoe and just drown that guy.
Jeez.
And then Marty Fish, he kind of shanked it. He kind of hit it off into the woods somewhere. So now Marty Fish has got a 2-stroke lead over Steph. Steph tees off, and of course he drives the green, and he's on the green. So Marty Fish goes ahead and he chips up there. And I'm sorry, he didn't drive the green. His second Steph Curry. Then he takes his second shot and he puts it on the green. It's about 25 feet from the pin. And Marty Fish gets it up there, and all he had to do was sink it. And then he puts all the pressure on Steph Curry. Well, Marty Fish didn't sink it. So now if Steph sinks his putt, he will win the tournament. And what does he do? He just drains the 25-footer and walks it off. He putts the ball, he watches it, then he knows it's going to go in and turns around and throws his hat in elation and runs over to the crowd that's standing there on the beach, grabs his son, he's kissing his son, hugs his wife, he's high-fiving and hugging his dad. And then he goes back over there and gets his ball out of the cup. Steph Curry is clutch.
That's awesome.
I mean, he's just.
And I have heard rumors that you ever play golf with Steph, be prepared for the trash talk. Be prepared to give it back, because that's all you're going to hear from the time you start to the time you finish. I just knowing that he can do that.
I will say this. What a sportsman. Marty Fish, when they were on the green and Marty was getting ready to putt, or Steph was getting ready to putt, Marty had walked by Steph and he says, go ahead, sink this thing, put it in, go get it. And then he did. I thought that was very classy by Marty Fish. There was no complaining about some drunk, idiot out there on some boat in Lake Tahoe that screamed during his backswing. There was no excuses. Well, if I'd have had a good shot, I would have won this tournament. There was none of that. Absolute class on the part of Marty Fish. Absolute class. So I had to talk about that for a second. I mean, Steph Curry, even in the offseason, the guy is clutch. King of kittens on Dasher, on Donner. No. Yeah, I agree with you, King of Kittens. That the guy who made the noise during that swing should have been dragged into the lake and drowned. I already said that. I'm ahead of you here. 888-368-1580. So much to talk about. I just had to get the Steph in there. That was crazy. So as some NBA, Joel Embiid, Yahoo Sports today. It was actually NBC on Yahoo Sports. Joel Embiid just wants to win a championship. And he was said in an interview, he doesn't really care if it's in Philly or wherever. He just wants to win a championship. He was being interviewed by Maverick Carter. And he basically said this in front of people on Twitter during a live interview with AJ Torres. With Carter, Maverick Carter. I mean, Joel Embiid is the Philadelphia 76ers. And the quote was, I just want to win a championship, whatever it takes. I don't know where that's going to be, whether it's in Philly or anywhere else. I just want to have a chance to accomplish that. I want to see what it feels like to win that first one and then think about the next one. It's not easy, but it takes more than 1, 2, 3 guys. You got to have good people around you. End quote. Keon, what are your thoughts on that statement?
It's not the way most athletes would have handled it. I think everybody would have tried to walk around that idea. But Joel Embiid is not a guy that has a filter. So he's just going to say whatever it is that he's feeling. And that's kind of where he is with this. I think he is a little bit frustrated that the second best player on that team has been James Harden. for the last couple of years. And it's looking like it might be James Harden again. They wanted to trade him, but they haven't found a trade partner that's willing to give up what it would take for them to part ways with James Harden. So it's probably going to be James Harden again. And that's the best that they can do. And I like James Harden, but we've seen him enough. In the playoffs, he doesn't show up. It just doesn't happen. And he's also far enough removed from the peak of James Harden, the guy that was in that MVP conversation for years and years. We're not close to that guy anymore. And, you know, you hope that the 76ers can make some kind of moves to get them over the hump, but they haven't been able to do that. And so for Joel Embiid to be thinking about potentially going somewhere else if it can't get done in Philadelphia, you know, he's got a couple more years on the contract, so it's not like he's trying to bolt right now. He's not asking for a trade, but he is 30. He's 29 and he'll be 30 you know, sometime during the season. You've got to start getting to that point where while you're in your prime, you can win a championship if that's your priority, and it is for him.
How do you feel, Ralph?
Well, I think his comments are consistent with the culture we have in the NBA and really in most sports nowadays. There's no loyalty to a team anymore. Those days are gone. I mean, that was one of the things I used to love about sports is the loyalty that a lot of these guys had to teams, and they don't anymore. It's about chasing a ring, winning a championship, getting as much money as you possibly can. And you'll do that wherever it is. It doesn't matter at this point where that is. You're just going to find that scenario or situation, and that's where you're going. And I think it's sad, but it is what it is, and that's what we have in sports today. It's become a money grab. It's become a ring chasing thing, and that's just consistent with where we at, in my opinion.
I don't know if he wants to team up with anybody. He hasn't said anything like that, but the loyalty aspect of it. I mean, look at Dame Lillard. Like, you stick around with the team, and then when the team's finally ready to move on from you, you're like, hey, I'd like to go here. No, like I don't. Like, yeah, no. Damian Lillard is going to be not remembered, I think, for being as great as he was, because he never came close to winning a title because the team wasn't capable of putting around it. And I do think that, like, there is a culture of lack of loyalty, but some of these organizations really don't. They're not
loyal back.
Yeah, they're not loyal back, and the ones that are just aren't capable of building. So Damian Lillard, like, his prime, he's still in it, but the front part of it, the best part of it, he's already done that.
You're just not going to see the Kobe's anymore, the guys that stay in that one organization their whole career. It's just not going to happen anymore. I just don't. You'll never see that again.
All right, we're going to talk about this more. We're up against a break. We also have a bunch of text on the text line, 888-368-1580. When we come back, we'll talk about this NBA, and we also have some NFL football to talk about. And on this date in Big Georgia sports history, it's the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
This is Brent Musburger's Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic. The best way to start betting smarter is to sign up for a free VSiN subscription at vsin.com/subscribe. That's vsin.com/subscribe.
The British Open will be getting underway on Thursday at Hoylake, also known as Royal Liverpool. It last hosted the Open Championship in 2014, which was won by Rory McIlroy. Scottie Scheffler is the betting favorite. He is at plus 650. McIlroy is coming off a win on Sunday at the Scottish Open, is at plus 700. John Rahm, this year's Masters champion, at plus 1200. Cameron Smith, who won the British Open last year, at plus 1600. Brooks Koepka, the reigning PGA champion, at plus 2000. I'm Tony Desiri with your VSiN Action Update on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Seems like everything is going electric these days. Electric cars, electric trucks. But what you save on gas, you pay for with that electric bill. With all these things being plugged into your house, wouldn't it be nice to save up to 85% on your monthly electric bill? Well, you can do that with zero down and no payments for 12 months. call Harmon Solar. Harmon Solar is a family-owned, woman-owned local company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar, 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189. Or go to harmonsolar.com.
When it comes to covering the high school sports scene in Arizona, AZ Preps 365 has all the answers. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 10, they break down games, interview the newsmakers, talk with coaches from around the state, and stay up to date with what's happening with prep athletes and breaking news from the Arizona prep scene. It's AZ Preps 365, 8 till 10 Saturday mornings on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
What's up, everybody? Nick Costos here, host of You Better You Bet, reminding you to check out the show. Now, why should you check out You Better You Bet? Because we bring you the most fun. We bring you the most insightful, the most entertaining show in the wagertainment world. From up-to-the-minute breakdowns of backdoor covers, bad beats, and the cheers and tears that come alongside them. Plus, you'll get the best betting analysis anywhere from myself, Ken Barkley, and some of the best minds in the sports wagering world. So tune in weekdays, noon to 3 on Arizona sports betting station, 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
No, Big George, it's not that one. No. Sorry, chosen one. That's not it. No. Random texter, I never thought I would hear my son's texter nickname set to 70s porn music. That was actually 90s porn music. I don't know about 70s. But that would be different, you know? Anyway. Kiss the Cook. I'm sorry. It's a Daily Blender on 1580 99.3 The Fanatic. Text line is 888-368-1580. We're heading towards 6 o'clock tonight on this date of Big George's sports history coming up. Answering your text right now, the text line at 888-368-1580, and there's a bunch of them. Kiss the Cook. Olivia Dunn should be the spokesperson for Jergens lotion. I mean, okay. Moving right along, I guess.
I would have kept that one.
Mr. Pink Eye, is it Frosty? No, Frosty was a snowman, not one of Santa's reindeer. I don't want to repeat that again. Frosty, snowman. Rudolph, reindeer. And Rudolph is not the one for today's reindeer. There are 8 tiny reindeer, and we have said the name of one of them today. And you need to know what that name is and text it in to be a part of the random drawing for a $50 Kasai Japanese Steakhouse gift card. After you lefty, did anyone do the Atomic Blonde double feature this weekend at the movies? What?
Barbie.
Oh.
No.
Please.
Barbenheimer?
Barbenheimer?
Yeah, because Oppenheimer is coming out
this
weekend, and also Barbie. And so there are people who are going to watch both.
It's German Barbie.
So
or it's German Barbie. One of the two.
Is there some connection here? Why is he calling the blonde doubleheader?
Because though Ken and Barbie both were blonde haired.
Yeah.
Doubleheader.
We said atomic. So
atomic,
because Oppenheimer is about the nuke,
the atomic bomb. I was kind of interested in that. I want to see what that's about.
I will definitely be watching.
It looks good.
Like to know which way they go on that. Hamilton Porter says, I want to see a televised match, Steph versus MJ. Okay, now we're talking. Did they have the match here just recently? It was like Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce versus somebody else.
It was Steph and Clay.
Oh, it's Steph and Clay?
Yeah, that was the other team.
Who came up with that pairing?
They just wanted to do a teammates thing, I think. And then Mahomes and Kelce got the best of them.
I
think Clay didn't carry his weight personally.
Well, Clay's not a golfer. So now, if you get to listen, if you go out and put some serious money on it, you get MJ out there, and you get Steph out there.
Look, if there's money on it, I don't even think you have to advertise that Michael Jordan's going to be there. He'll show up.
I mean, look, it'll be instant successful.
Maybe get Barkley out there.
Oh no, you don't want to ruin it.
Barkley didn't look bad.
Really? He's fixed his swing. I will say. somehow fixed his swing. It doesn't look like he's having a stroke now every time he hits his driver, but he's fixed his swing.
There's no longer 3 hitches at the top of his swing before he finally follows through.
Oh my God. You could set your watch by how long it took him. It was like he was a sundial out there.
Sundial. That was just ugly.
I don't know why the guy kept playing. But look, I mean, okay, now he's fixed his swing and you can't make fun. Well, you could still make fun.
Yeah, you
can. No, Mr. Oh, I already said that. A Baker's cocky hen. If fans at NBA games went dead silent, then yelled just before the free throw was released, it would have the same effect. People are just not smart enough to figure that out and coordinate it.
You're going to coordinate 75,000 people to all scream at just the time to shoot. Good luck with that. I don't know that's possible.
I get it, but I mean, that was kind of bush league, if you ask me, for that guy to scream like that. Go have another beer, moron. King of Kittens, again, on Dasher, on Donner, on Vomit, on Stupid, pour me a beer, Keon. The fan who made the noise during that swing should have been dragged into the lake and drowned. Did I already read these? I think I did.
Yeah, I remember that.
Sometimes it says that they're new texts, even though they're not new texts.
Hey, Randy, Blissful Hayes asks, do you know the cheapest meat is reindeer balls? They're under $1. All right, we're going to have to, that's a flag. That's a whistle on him. Blissful Hayes, 2 minutes. Kum. Joel basically cried this last season to get the MVP. Cried? Wait, cried? How did he cry? To get the MVP?
I mean, tried?
No, I think he means cried. There are some people who just think that because Joel Embiid was whining about not being the MVP, that's why he got the MVP. And that's not why. It's because NBA writers don't like giving people the MVP multiple years in a row. Jokic had won it 2 times in a row. You know who's never won it 3 times in a row? Michael Jordan. You know who else has never won it 3 times in a row? LeBron James. It's just hard for people to wrap their mind around giving Nikola Jokic 3 MVPs in a row when you didn't give it to Jordan and LeBron.
Stupid. He should have gotten it.
That it's just that's that simple. They have trouble wrapping their mind around that reality when really they should just blame themselves for not giving 3 in a row to Jordan when Jordan deserved it and not giving 3 in a row to LeBron when LeBron deserved it. It's that simple. But if you didn't give it to them, now it's Jokic's turn. It's like, man, we can't give it to him 3 times in a row. Michael Jordan's the best basketball player that's ever lived. We didn't give it to him. So here we are. That's the reason why Embiid won the MVP.
Boomer Sooner, I accept your apology. He says, my mistake is trying to comment right after you talk about it. My texts get pushed down the list, and by the time you read it, different subject. My mistake is trying to text in too quick. Well, it's not your mistake. I appreciate the you just don't badger me about how come you're not reading it, because I'm just trying to tell you what happens. Give me a chance to get there. And by the way, he texted that in at 5:20, just to let you know, it's 11 minutes ago. I've had a commercial. We've talked about Joel Embiid, and then Blissful Hayes had to come in here with the reindeer balls. I mean, there was things that happened. Raven Kid, the loyalty isn't there from players because it's not there from the teams either. That's why these players are going to want theirs. So many superstars have gotten backstabbed by organizations. I would agree with that. But it's a different day, a different time, these players also want an exorbitant amount of money. And so it's just this cruel back and forth between teams and owners.
I can't remember if it was the CBA in 2014, but whatever CBA it was actually before that, because it actually is one of the reasons why LeBron's been able to kind of pick and choose wherever he wants to go. The contracts got really, really short. And back in the day, you used to be able to sign like a contract for 7 years, and then you just be in the contract, and there was nothing you could really do about it. You were just there. And also because the contracts were so big, they were kind of hard for teams to trade too. So now the contracts are smaller. It's easier for teams to get rid of guys if they don't really want them. And it's easier for guys to just ask for a trade because it's not a steep penalty for moving from one place to another, at least not until now. This new CBA is going to change a whole lot of things, but that CBA made it so the contracts were so short, no one had to be loyal. So the teams weren't, the players aren't, and that's part of it.
Let's see. The moist one says, I thought that was the play-by-play chick for the Yankees. Bless Nick Costos. He's brave. Why, you mean because he's on the station with you? Okay. Is he going to die? Why are we blessing? Moist one, I need some clarity on that one. Chief Skull, if you want to go see a good movie that will pull at your heartstrings, go see Sound of Freedom.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I want to go see that.
I understand it is a good movie as well. Yep. Hamilton Porter, my point was to get Steph and MJ hot mics more entertaining than the game itself. I agree. And I think having them out there doing the match. Remember that one time it was Phil and Tiger? And we've gone away. We've made it this ridiculous thing. I mean, why don't we get like Bill Murray out there and somebody else? You know what I mean? It's just so ridiculous anymore. Get Ray Romano and Bill Murray to play in the match 12. This time it's for laughs.
Get Bill Murray announcing it.
Oh, that would be funny.
That'd be funny.
Yeah.
Because the guys they have doing it, yawn. Right?
Well,
they're just horrible.
Well, it's golf. No, Big George, it's not blitzing. Big George, stop it.
Wow.
Now we have some sort of discrepancy here. Mr. Pringle, 75,000 people at a basketball game, huh? Well, if it was in like a football stadium,
I don't know.
Why
man.
not?
I said
Mr.
a number.
Pringle? Why not?
I just said a number that was thousands. Leave me alone. Okay.
Thundar the Santa Barbarian is moron the reindeer name. No. Thundar the Santa Barbarian, you need to do your research on reindeer name.
Right.
Moron is not a reindeer name. Moron's the cat in that boat that had one too many beverages and thought it would be funny to scream as soon as the guy is in his backswing. That's what a moron is. Moist one, just so I could pull the popcorn trick in private. What?
Well, it's moist one, so I already feel disgusted. I don't even know what that means. I'm just already
What are
grossed
you
out.
saying, moist one?
I'm gonna look that up on my phone and not a company computer.
Chief Cole, which comment did you mention? Oh my God. It's not comment. Sorry. Baker's cocky hen says Barkley and Brooksy versus Tiger Woods and Jordan. I mean, Brooksy's going to throw down on Barkley because, that's just not going to go well. Tiger Woods and Jordan? Michael Jordan?
I was correct about the moist one's text. I was correct.
You looked it up.
I looked it up.
Beer Bob, 75,000 people at an NBA game, Keon. What NBA stadium holds 75,000? Aren't they all under 20,000?
Man.
You guys are beating up Keon.
I'm talking about,
Yeah, come on.
I like talking about players and putting together rosters. Leave me alone.
Randy, Big George is getting you to Big George is getting you to discount the names one by one. Well, if that's the case and I catch him, then he's disqualified. DQ'd. Hamilton Porter, if you can do football on a NASCAR track, why the hell can't you do basketball in a football stadium?
I mean, you can.
They do that sometimes, don't they?
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Like the NCAA tournament, sometimes,
right.
They had I forget which Final Four was in Jerry World. They do, yeah.
And they've done it in the Superdome, if I remember right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's happened there.
Hasn't San Antonio done that as well?
Yeah, in the Alamo Dome.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
so I mean,
They've had the Final Four at Glendale, the Cardinals.
Yeah,
Stadium.
that's true.
Yeah, so it happens.
So Keon was right.
Yeah. So
now get off my back.
Yeah,
maybe just a little bit.
Get a ladder and climb down, Jack. I don't know if you guys saw this. This is kind of a lighthearted story, kind of a feel-good story. You know, these NFL guys are not making enough in the NFL. So when they retire, they have to go on instead of spending, their millions and millions of dollars. And that was the case with Blake Martinez, who was burned out on football and took a rare Pokemon. Sorry, don't roast me on it. Pokemon. I don't know what Pokemon is. Pokemon card to convince him to quit the game and embrace the collectibles. Now, I know the fourth dimension is ripe with card collectors out there. So Martinez, former Stanford star who started at linebacker for 4 straight years with the Pack, signed a $30 million free agent deal with the Giants in March. Right when the COVID pandemic was shutting down sports across the world, he tore his ACL early in the 21 season, which led him to his eventual release from the Giants. In 22, he signed with the Raiders, coming back from the knee surgery to play dominating defense. But when Blake Martinez didn't want to go through the grind anymore, he just sold a pristine Pikachu Illustrator for $672,000.
Wow.
Since then, he's become a full-time Pokemon businessman, and his company has generated $11.5 million in revenues.
Jeez. You know how much money he made during his career?
Well, it was more than 30 million. I know that.
No, his career earnings, 10 million. His company has generated more money selling Pokemon cards than he made.
Only 10 million
ever playing. Not only 10, but I'm saying the Pokemon cards have made more money for him than football did.
Made 10 million.
I'm not asking you to pity him.
Too bad.
I'm saying Pokemon makes more money than football.
Make sure he's on food stamps and well taken care of.
Clearly,
$10 million.
Pikachu's got him covered. He didn't need any help.
No kidding. I think he sold a Pikachu Illustrator for $672,000.
Who buys this?
Apparently somebody with a lot of money.
That's insane for a card.
For a Pokemon card.
Right. And now he's doing this full-time Pokemon business, generating $11.5 million in revenue. Keon's going to go home tonight, go into his closet, start throwing gear out onto the floor, and find that shoebox with all those Pokemon cards in there. I know exactly what's going to happen.
I wish I didn't get into Pokemon like that. See,
what were you into?
I should have been, because that would have worked. Just video games. I don't have like cards.
Anime.
I have like basketball cards and baseball cards, and
he was into anime.
I mean, I am into anime, but watching
anime,
it doesn't make you money.
What do you call them?
I don't have a thing to
books?
like. Yeah, I got the manga. I got the Japanese manga.
What?
That's
Are you okay?
That's what Japanese comics are called.
Sounds like
like
this mumps or.
But I can't sell those for tons of money because you could buy those anywhere, really.
When you said I got the manga, I thought for sure we're going to shut down the country again. All right. Let's come back on this date in Big Georgia sports history around the corner. And maybe I got a little something here from the NFL. We'll see. It's the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Christmas in July is back at Kasai Japanese Steakhouse in Scottsdale. Get a $20 bonus gift card for every $100 gift card you buy. When it comes to Asian cuisine, no one does it better or more authentic than Kasai, where talented Teppan chefs create the food, the fire, and the fun of teppanyaki. Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. It isn't just dinner, it's dinnertainment. A memorable dining experience where delicious 7-course meals prepared right at your table with flair. It's a perfect choice for celebrations, date nights, or a night on the town. Choose from over 30 different items and combinations of teppanyaki, Asian fusion, and innovative sushi. Happy hour is always on fire and offered daily with specials on teppanyaki, sushi,
sushi, and their signature cocktails. Now through July, for every $100 gift card you buy, get an extra $20 bonus card. Bonus cards cannot be used on the day to purchase. Go to KasaiScottsdale.com. That's KASAI Scottsdale.com or call 480-607-1114. That's 480-607-1114.
At Granger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail, the ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional grade products. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Seems like everything is going electric these days. Electric cars, electric trucks. But what you save on gas, you pay for with that electric bill. With all these things being plugged into your house, wouldn't it be nice to save up to 85% on your monthly electric bill? Well, you can do that with zero down and no payments for 12 months. Call Harmon Solar. Harmon Solar is a family-owned, woman-owned local company that uses top-of-the-line equipment. Call Harmon Solar, 800-281-3189. That's 800-281-3189. Or go to harmonsolar.com.
1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
Live and local.
It's Daily Blender on 1580 99.3 The Fanatic. Rough Rob on the text line says, now the Suns are making a terrible decision, especially with Bol. Also, he says, is it really Christmas in July? Feels like hell, fellas. Yeah, well,
it's the spirit of Christmas in July, because clearly it doesn't feel like Christmas.
Chief Skull says Final Four was in Metrodome in Minnesota. Hated that stadium. Yeah, especially when it was it had that blizzard at one time and the roof caved in. The hefty cinch sack fell in.
I remember that. Wow.
Baker's cocky hand on the text line 888-368-1580. Leave Keon alone. Spurs game this year had 75,000, didn't it?
Oh, the one that they actually did play at the Alamo Dome.
And then he's got a picture. Baker's cocky hand has a picture of a Pikachu trading card game. I don't know what that means, but hey, good for you. Boomer Sooner. Come on, Z Ralph. You have then. What the hell is that? Come on, Z Ralph. You have then.
I don't know what that means.
Remember, we have a secret Santa Claus reindeer name that we've been talking about today. And we've already said it. I have a few people that have texted in and got it. I'm trying to make a list so we can give that to Jeffrey for the random number generator. And the winner of that will get a $50 gift card to Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. It's the Christmas in July promotion going on. Just keep listening to the blender, and you'll hear a reindeer name. Now, we've said a few today, but Rudolph is not one of them. That was an example. And then George has been going down the list. And no, George, you cannot win by process of elimination. But if you do hear it and you are selected as the winner that day, you'll get yourself a Kasai Japanese Steakhouse $50 gift card. And if you keep track of all the reindeer names that week, text them in on Friday for your chance to win another $50 gift card from Kasai Japanese Steakhouse. It's the Christmas in July with Kasai promotion, 888-368-1580. So did you guys, you into the soccer at all, Ralph?
I am, yeah.
So did you see the big, the big thing that happened last night, Messi?
No, I didn't see that.
They come into Miami and the hell they had the stadium was packed. You know, Miami's the worst team in the league right now. And they've guaranteed Messi to get some $100 million or something like that a season.
Jeez.
Some crazy, absurd thing. But they had a sellout crowd announcing him last. It was no game. It was just everybody had to get in, and they had the fireworks going off the top of the stadium there, and they had somehow they They had sparklers, and they had dancing girls, and I think the Clydesdales were there, and they had somehow fixed it with God to make it rain. So there was this kind of mist and rain coming down, and Messi came out wearing a bright pink jersey, and David Beckham, Tom Brady, Steph Curry, all the biggies did a big video welcome to Lionel Messi there in the Miami. Remember on this show, I keep telling everybody that you get these expensive athletes. Somebody's got to pay for that. It's not generally going to be the owner. You remember that? You remember me saying that?
You have said that, yeah.
All right. Well, in the latest example, underline and bold that for me. Inter Miami, worst team in the soccer league, apparently. Inter Miami is selling Lionel, what the hell's his name? Lionel Messi jerseys for $200.
Oh my God.
$200. A soccer jersey, which is basically a fancy T-shirt with some writing on it. It's not even like a baseball or football jersey. It's like a T-shirt. In this case, it looks kind of like a polo shirt. You can get the black one with the pink striping, or you could get the all pink with the black striping on it. That's it. That'll set you back $2. Yeah. Inter Miami. From the MLS. I told you Miami's the worst team in the MLS, right?
You did mention that, yeah.
Yeah, I told you that. Oh, by the way, you a little hungry at the game there? Let me tell you what you can get at one of these Inter Miami. By the way, did I mention they're the worst team in the MLS? Yeah,
I think you did, yeah.
And they, I guess when you, according to the Twitter, Josh Mosier said the rain machine was raining a bit too much. They had to dial that back. It took them a little bit to adjust it. But apparently you can, when you go, Club de Internacional de Football, Miami, here's what you can get: an all beef hot dog. Oh, that's American. We're going to get us a all beef hot dog. And that comes with it comes with chips too. Now keep in mind, it comes with chips. That's going to set you back $14.75
for a hot dog and chips.
Yeah, for a hot dog and chips. And
Right,
knowing
that's-
it's a stadium chip, so it's probably 3 or 4 chips.
Do I get a drink?
Oh no, that's not the drink. Oh hell no,
Oh my
no,
God. No, that's a crime.
that's just a hot dog.
A cup of water? My God.
$14.75. Oh no, they hand out the water there. Oh hell no, you got to buy some. We got this. We got to pay Lionel Messi. While you get your $14.75 hot dog, why don't you slip over to the pro shop and grab you a couple of those $200 jerseys?
Jeez. But it's not just to pay him. It's also that they know that it's Miami and people will pay that money.
Yeah.
They'll do it.
Messi's Miami deal is worth between $50 million and $60 million per year, plus a signing bonus and equity in the team.
Wow.
You don't play if you are a high level athlete. Sure, and as Americans we make fun of soccer, but if you're a high level athlete and you think you can be like a world class athlete, you should play soccer. All the money is there. I'm just telling you how it is.
You should have seen the owners. They flanked Messi. On either side they had their smart blazers on there. They had that $1 million smile, like, but what they were actually saying is, "Oh my God, how are we going to pay this guy?"
Isn't he like in his 30s?
He's 38 years old.
Yeah,
38 years old, and he's making that kind of money.
Yeah, no. Okay, so this is exactly the reverse of what happens in every other sport.
Yeah.
Guys play basketball here in the NBA or in the hockey in the NHL, and they make all the money they can make in the prime of their career. And then when they start getting too old for high level NBA basketball, you can go to Maccabi Tel Aviv and play in Israel. You can go to Australia and play over there, and they will give you a boatload of cash to be a 39-year-old basketball player somewhere in China playing for the Shenzhen Dragons. Like you can do that. That is a thing. But in soccer, everybody plays in Europe. And then when they start to get too old to play high level European soccer,
to the MLS. Yeah.
There's an MLS team that'll pay you. They've done it for David Beckham. They did it for Ibrahimovic. It doesn't matter. If you're a big name guy, you come over here.
So when you're too old, you can come play for us.
Yeah. Retire.
And we'll pay you a lot of money.
And get $60 million to retire.
So they adapted the Arizona Cardinal way of doing it. That's
amazing.
amazing.
Just had to get out,
Just
get that out there,
amazing.
did you? Wow.
The MLS Arizona Cardinals. It's beautiful.
Shut his mic off.
Oh
man.
my God. There's no
you got
better
technical
match.
problems, Ralph. We can't hear you.
Cupid couldn't make a better match than Ralph and Trash Talk.
I better get this done here before Big George texts in again. It's time, ladies and gentlemen, for On This Date in Big George's sports history. Back in the year 1914, control artist Babe Adams of the Pittsburgh Pirates pitched an entire 21-inning game without issuing a single walk against the New York Giants, a record that still stands to this very day. The contest, which is the longest game in big league history without base on balls, was decided by Larry Doyle's home run in the top of the 21st inning, giving Rube Marquard, who also went the distance, the 3-1 victory. In 1920, Adams allowed only 18 walks in 263 innings pitched, amounting to 1 walk per 14.6 innings, a Major League Baseball record that stood until 2005.
That's insane. Wow.
You know, Friday we were talking about some of these candy asses that pitched today, and this guy 21 innings and didn't issue a walk.
Wow. I mean, the average MLB pitcher issues 4 walks per 9 innings on average. Yeah. That's insane. That's great. Wow.
Back when men were men and sheep were scared. So we didn't have a man of the day, but if we did, I'd name this lady the man of the day. She turned 97 years old. She's always wanted a specific present. She doesn't like doing the housework. No, she's a landscaper at heart. She is 97 years old, and her name is she's from Massachusetts, by the way. Marie Erickson bought herself for her 97th birthday a top-of-the-line John Deere tractor. And she says she's not slowing down. She's on that bad boy every day. If the grass needs cutting, I go around and check, and I see it. I cut it. She owns her home sits on 2.5 acres of land. She says it keeps me busy. I don't like doing housework. Even before her husband died, the 4'8" firecracker always had a love of landscaping. So congratulations there, Marie Erickson, 97. You drive the hell out of that John Deere tractor. You deserve it. Well, Ralph, Keon, thank you so much for being here, Ralph. I appreciate it. I know you got a lot going on.
Yep. Happy
and as always, Keon, another stellar job by you. Jeffrey O'Brien will be back with us on this radio station tomorrow. Until then, hug your loved ones, kiss the dog, and enjoy a nice evening. Of course, the flamethrower featuring all the best in radio content. Stay tuned for all of that shining example of radio gold. This has been the Daily Blender on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic.
At Grainger, we're for the ones who pay attention to every little detail. The ones who fuss, tinker, and sweat the small stuff. Because you know the tiniest thing can make the biggest difference when it comes to keeping business moving. We get it. We're the same way, offering access to product experts to help you quickly and easily find what you need. So whatever your industry, you know you're always getting professional grade products. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
When it comes to covering the high school sports scene in Arizona, AZ Preps 365 has all the answers. Every Saturday morning from 8 until 10, they break down games, interview the newsmakers, talk with coaches from around the state, and stay up to date with what's happening with prep athletes and breaking news from the Arizona prep scene. It's AZ Preps 365, 8 till 10 Saturday mornings on 1580 and 99.3 The Fanatic, and always on at 1580thefanatic.com.
Christmas in July is back at Kasai Japanese Steak.